All right, and we are now live. All right, hello everyone, and welcome to today's reading of Charley's Aunt. This play is written by Brandon Thomas, and it was first produced in 1892 and has subsequently been presented at the Globe Theatre, on Broadway, on the West End, and also in multiple incarnations as a film in several different languages. The most recent of which I understand was 1986. The play takes place in Oxford. And while the play is often set in the present day, we will be depicting ourselves within the 1892 context. Today, we have a truly international cast in every sense of the world. We have actors from 5 different countries tonight. So please, one by one, please introduce yourselves.
I'll go first. My name is Roland Sterling. I'll be playing Charley, and I'm streaming live from London, England.
Welcome.
Hello, my name is Lucas Raphael, and I'll be playing Jack, and I'm streaming from Brooklyn.
Welcome.
Hi, I'm James Lawrence. I'm reading for Colonel Sir Francis Chesney, and I'm reading from Hoboken, New Jersey.
Welcome.
My name's Daniel O'Kane. I'm playing the role of Lord Fancourt Babberley, and I'm in Melbourne, Australia.
Hi, I'm Xavier, and I'm playing Brasset and the beautiful Donna Lucia, and I'm in Estonia.
Hi, I'm Monroe Del Sol, and I'm playing the role of Amy, and I'm streaming from New Jersey.
Hi, I'm Genevieve Joy. I am playing Kitty, and I am in Los Angeles.
And hi, I'm Mandy Goodwin, and I am playing the role of Ella, and I am streaming from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Awesome, thanks everyone. So because we're an international cast and streaming from all different headquarters around the world, please be aware there is a slight chance of technical interruptions throughout the duration of tonight's performance. If there are cutouts, we will continue with the play and the actor will return to resume their role. Also, audience, if you cut out, do not stress. You can simply return back to the YouTube page and the stream will continue as before. If you miss any parts, you can also come back to that link and watch the playback at a later time. Also, we'd love to know where you are based around the world. So please, why don't you write in the comments on the YouTube video just by clicking onto the YouTube channel. Click through to the YouTube channel and you can type in the comments box where you are joining us from. We'd love to know. And also feel free to ask questions. At the end of tonight's performance, we will have a short Q&A session. So ask any questions you like and the actors and myself will answer. So without any further ado, please sit back, relax, and enjoy this play. We will have an intermission between the first and second acts and also as the second and third acts. Enjoy. Let's begin. Act 1, Oxford, 1892. Interior of Chesney's rooms, St. Old's College. It's morning. Sunlight streams in. We hear the Eton boating song. Jack Chesney sits at the writing table, unlit pipe in mouth, struggling to write a letter. He looks at the letter, sighs, tears it up. Tall, dark, good-looking, about 22, Chesney laughs his way through life, is self-confident, quick, and alert.
I can't. I just can't. I simply don't know what to say. How I wish to goodness I'd spoken to her at the dance. Instead, I've gone and left everything to the very last minute, and now I'm utterly nonplussed. By George. I know what. I'll make an exercise of it. I'll write it down a dozen different ways and send the one I think looks best.
He goes back to the table and sits, takes up pen.
So, come on, Jack. Here we are, in love with the dearest girl on earth. Tackle her like a man, tell her so, or they'll be off north and you'll have lost your chance forever. She is my fate, my destiny, and I'm hanged if I shan't be hers. So, here it goes.
He starts to write.
My darling. That's rather strong, perhaps, to begin with.
He tears up the paper, begins again.
My dear Miss Verdun. No, too formal, not a bit what I really feel.
He tears it up.
My dear, hang it, why not? My dear Kitty. Ah, well, that's grand.
Brassett enters quietly. He's a college scout, a manservant, between 40 and 50 years of age, wearing dark trousers and short, dark gray alpaca coat and a white collar.
Now I can go ahead like a house on fire. My dear Kitty,
I beg your pardon, sir, but would you mind?
Yes, very much. Now go away. I'm busy.
Yes, sir, but...
I am busy with the most important affair. Now get out.
Brassett takes a book or two off the table, hesitates.
Yes, sir, but...
Just as I made such a good start, too. My dear Kitty.
Brassett drops the books back onto the table.
What are you doing, Brassett? Confound it all. What do you want?
I merely wish to say, sir, that I've laid out a few things which...
Yes, all right. Thank you. Now, get out and please leave me alone.
Which I thought you wouldn't care to.
Take him, keep him, take every blessed rag I've got. Only go.
Brassett sighs and goes to leave.
My dear Kitty.
Might beg your pardon, sir.
Confound it. I wasn't addressing you. Now, go away.
Brassett leaves quickly. Charley enters with a letter. Charley Wykeham is about 20, good-looking, charming, and though shy, is not awkward.
My dear Kitty.
I say.
If you don't clear out, I'll... Oh, it's you, Charley. What is it, old chap?
Nothing, Jack. I don't want to interrupt you if you're busy.
Oh, that's all right, Charley. Don't go. It's only that fool Brassett.
What's he doing?
Only bragging all my clothes because I'm going down and worrying me like old Harry while I'm trying to write a most important letter. Don't mind me today. I'm nervous and naggy and nonplussed.
And so am I, Jack.
Why?
I've been trying to write a letter too.
A letter? To whom?
To Miss Pettigrew.
Jack stands and goes to Charley.
Well, how far have you got?
Oh, I began awfully well, but I didn't want to be too distant, and I didn't like to be too
familiar. Well?
So I just said, my dear Amy, and then words failed me. And so I've come to you for advice. You always know what to say and do.
Do I?
You know my idiotic complaint. I'm shy. You're not.
Aren't I?
So prescribe for me, old chap. What am I to say?
Charley turns away and sits at the corner of the table.
What a good idea. I'll prescribe for him and take the medicine myself.
Jack sits at the writing table and gets paper.
Now then, let's see. You're in love with Amy Spettique and you want to know if there's any hope for you. And if so...
You see, they're all off to Scotland tomorrow.
Yes, I know. And you want to see her at once. But when and where? Do I diagnose your case accurately?
To a T, old chap.
Very well, then. You want to say something to this effect. My dear Kitty.
No, not Kitty, Amy.
Oh, yes, of course. What am I thinking of?
He tears up the paper and takes a fresh sheet.
Dearest Amy. Forgive me, darling, for thus addressing you, but I love you so deeply. Deeply underlined.
Rather strong, Jack.
Oh, shut up. So earnestly, also underlined.
Oh, I say.
That I must write and tell you so. All I ask is...
But there's one obstacle to my putting it quite as straight as that, much as I'd like to.
Oh, what's that?
Well, I've an aunt.
My dear Charley, most of us have. What about her?
I feel I ought to tell her first.
Jack flings down his pen, rises, and goes to the fireplace.
Ugh. If you're going to drag an aunt into the business, we may as well wait till they all have come back from Scotland.
Why?
Well, you know what auntie is when she steps in.
No, I don't. That's just it. I don't know her. I've never even seen her.
Ah, well, we won't be too hard on that particular aunt, given that she hasn't interfered in our affairs up to now.
Except to find out that I was an orphan and have me sent to Eton and then on to Oxford. And now my guardian writes to me that she's coming here this morning by an early train and will take luncheon with me at 1 o'clock.
What? And you've never seen her?
No. She went out to Brazil before I was born and became a sort of secretary to a very rich old Brazilian chap out there called Dom Pedro Dalvadores. And now, by the merest accident in the world...
Charlie takes the Truth newspaper from his pocket, points.
I've seen this.
He gives the newspaper to Jack, who reads.
Madam, or rather Donna Lucia de Alvadores, the Brazilian millionaire who has taken Lord Tuppleby's magnificent mansion in Belgravia, is an Englishwoman of genial disposition and a financial genius. Indeed, it was her capacity in this direction that earned the gratitude of her late husband and led to a romantic deathbed marriage. Well, I don't see that much in that.
Jack offers the newspaper back.
Go on, Jack. Read the next.
Her only relation is a nephew at Oxford. Gosh, lucky nephew.
That's me.
By George, Charlie, so it is. Oh, this is a startler. And you say she might be here any minute.
I've met all the trains up to now. I just wish she'd have come some other day.
I expect she'll arrive by the next, or just in time for lunch.
Yes, it's a bore. I wanted to write that letter to Amy. It's such an awfully difficult letter to write. Fearfully complicated.
Why?
Well, you see, I've no people or anything.
No people? What? With an aunt like that?
But I've no reason to expect anything more from her. More than she's already done for me, for which, of course, I'm very grateful and all that. But I want to see Amy and put it to her that...
Charlie, I've got a clinking good idea.
Oh, Jack, you're such a good chap. Write it down and I'll copy it out.
No, not for you. For me, well, for us both. You're gone on Amy, and I'm in love with Kitty.
Really, Jack?
Madly. Worse than anything I ever took up. Even cricket. In fact, I was writing to tell her so when you came in. There's the letter.
Charlie shakes Jack's hand effusively.
My dear fellow, I'm so glad. So what's your idea?
Hang letter writing. We'll give a luncheon party for your aunt with tea afterwards in the garden.
But my rooms are so small.
Well, never mind. I'll lend you mine. Brassett shall see to it. Brassett! Now come on. First, we'll ask the girls.
Ask the girls?
Well, to meet your aunt.
What about old Spettigue?
Oh, blow old Spettigue.
Oh, I forgot. He's up in town for a few days on business.
Ah, so much the better. Brassett!
Do you think they'll come?
Well, they'll jump right at it.
What makes you think so?
We'll send a note at once. You write it.
Charlie writes to dictation.
My dear Miss Spettigue. Spettigue. Brassett, where are you?
Brassett enters silently, stands behind Jack.
Brassett, where are you?
Jack turns, faces Brassett.
Ah, Brassett. Get someone to take a note to Mr. Spettigue.
Yes, sir.
My dear Miss Spettigue.
Yes, I've got that.
Would you and Miss Verdun do me the honor?
Do me the honor.
To lunch with me and Mr. Chesney.
Mr. Chesney.
I'll address the envelope.
I'll address the...
No, not that, you muff. At his rooms, St. Ode's College, today at 1 o'clock to meet my aunt. What did you say her name was?
Donna Lucia Dalvadores.
My Aunt Donna. All right, stick it down. By answer, by bearer will be greatly obliged.
Yours sincerely, Charles Wickham.
Charlie blots the letter.
Well, that should do it.
Splendid, Jack. You're a genius.
Charlie folds the letter and puts it in an envelope.
Yes, it's a glorious opportunity. They'll soon be off to Scotland, but first we shall have them all to ourselves.
Brassett returns.
The messenger, sir.
Jack hands the letter to Brassett.
Give him that. And tell him to look sharp.
Yes, sir.
Brassett quickly glances at the address on the envelope, smiles, and exits. Jack returns to his writing table, picks up the torn letters.
Well, this sort of thing isn't to be settled by correspondence.
Jack tears up the letters and gives fragments to Charley, who puts them into a paper basket.
No, and we shall have them all to ourselves.
Yes, and we couldn't have asked them if they hadn't been for your aunt. I'm beginning to love that dear old lady already. Brassett!
Brassett enters.
Yes, sir.
Lunch for 5.
For how many, sir?
For 5.
5, sir.
Brassett chuckles.
What are you laughing at?
Well, sir, I'm afraid our credit in the kitchen is somewhat exhausted.
Ah, is it indeed? How are you off for tick, Charlie?
I'm afraid my guardian's rather,
Never mind. Brassett, get it outside. Go to Bunter's.
I'm afraid, sir, we also owe Bunters.
Oh, do we?
Jack goes to Charlie and takes his watch and chain.
I hope you don't mind. It'll be all right when I get my next check.
Jack gives his watch and chain to Brassett.
Here you are. Do the best you can with that.
Brassett scrutinizes them critically.
This is no good, sir. I couldn't get anything on this, sir.
Brassett returns the watch and chain.
However, sir, I've no doubt it will be all right at Bunter's if I say it's for me.
No, all right. Brassett, lunch for 5 at 1 o'clock.
Brassett looks at his own gold watch.
Rather short notice, sir.
Okay, go where you like. Do what you like. Only lunch for 5 at 1.
Jack puts Charlie's watch and chain in his own waistcoat pocket, crossing to Charlie.
Well, that's all right, Charlie, isn't it?
I say, Jack, that's my watch.
Beg your pardon, old chap. My mistake.
What wine, sir?
A champagne.
Very little left, sir.
Brassett opens the sideboard.
Well, half a dozen bottles.
I think not, sir. Only 4, sir.
Brassett puts them on the sideboard.
Oh, quite enough.
Jack turns to Brassett.
There were 6. 6, I'll swear.
Pardon me, sir. Only 4 of champagne.
He puts them on the table.
And I think, yes, 1 of clary.
Oh, hang that claret.
He puts it on the sideboard.
It's been open a month. All right. He sneaked those 2 other bottles. He's a bit of a corker.
Yes, my fellow's just the same.
Jack gives Brassett a ferocious glance. Brassett smiles and exits.
Now, while you and your dear old aunt are looking at the chapel and the cloisters, Kitty and I can have our little talk.
Yes, Jack, that's all very well, but what about Amy and me? And our little talk? The aunt will be horribly in our way.
I never thought of that.
She's all very well as an excuse to get the girls to come here, but by myself she'll be an awful bore.
Well, she'll be worse than that. She'll be a brute of a nuisance.
What do we do?
Well, Napoleon went over the Alps on horseback, and I've been under them by train, so there must be a way out of this.
But how? Perhaps we should ask someone to meet her?
Yes, someone we can depend upon.
Brassett re-enters, busies himself at the sideboard.
But whom?
What about Brassett? He's a pompous sort of chap, and as artfully as a corkscrew. Can't we turn him into a don or something, just for the day?
Yes, that's possibly a good idea, Jack, but...
No, won't do. We shall want him to wait table.
Yes, of course, so we shall.
There's always Freddie Peel.
Oh, he's such a cynical chap.
Brassett exits.
Besides, he's sure to neglect your aunt.
Yes, and want to make love to our girls. By George, I've got it. Babs! Fanny Babs! We'll ask him.
Yes, but why didn't we think of him before? He's a jolly cheerful old chap. To amuse your aunt like the deuce and keep her in a rattling good humor.
Splendid.
Brassett!
Brassett re-enters.
Yes, sir?
Go to Lord Francois Babley's rooms, give him my compliments, and ask him to come here at once.
Yes, sir.
Say it's very important.
Yes, sir.
As Brassett leaves,
And very immediate.
Yes, sir.
Jack crosses to the fireplace.
And while Babs is doing gooseberry with your aunt, we can have a little chat with the girls.
Charley sits.
By the by, Jack, talking of Babs's cheerfulness, haven't you noticed something about him lately? Ever since he was so ill and he had to go off to the Mediterranean.
I've noticed he's been jolly hard up.
Jack at the
I
right.
fancy from a few hints he's dropped me that he's a bit hard hit himself.
What? Babs in love?
Yeah. And if I'm not so much mistaken, he's as soft-hearted over a girl as,
As we are. Well, all the better. He'll feel for us. He'll see the necessity of keeping the old lady well out of the way.
By George, Jack, you'll be Prime Minister one of these days.
Brassett returns.
His lordship's compliments, sir, but he says he can't come. He has luncheon party and could perhaps lend him a few bottles of champagne.
Lend him a few bottles of champagne. Well, of all the cheek.
Who's he got coming?
Oh, Freddie Peel and a lot of idiots like himself, I expect. And no doubt they'll be howling comic songs all the afternoon.
Yes, it'll sound awfully bad, won't it?
Brassett, lay for 6.
Yes, sir.
Now, what shall we do?
Come on. We'll go to him. We just make him come. He can't be allowed to upset our plans in such a selfish way. Brassett, put that champagne on ice and tidy up the room. Come on, Charlie. Come on.
Charley and Jack leave. Brassett looks at his watch.
1 o'clock. Dear, oh dear.
He opens the windows wider and begins to tidy.
Order first, always the first. Hurry, scurry, no time for anything. They come with a bang, they go with a bang. Everything with a bang.
As he leaves,
Except pay the bills with a bang.
upstage we hear Lord Fancourt call.
Jack? Jack, I say, old man.
Lord Fancourt Beverley appears as the window, carrying a large Gladstone bag. He is small but good-looking, smartly dressed in light clothes. He climbs in through the window.
Jack, where the dickens are you?
He looks around the room, then quickly checks the bedroom. As he returns,
I wanted to borrow some fizz.
he goes to the sideboard.
I wonder where they keep it.
He sees the champagne on the table.
Hello, by George, the very thing.
He puts his bag on the table, opens it, takes an antimacassar from the chair, uses it to wrap the bottle.
Serves him right. Shouldn't leave it about.
He puts a wrapped bottle into his bag. As he takes and wraps and puts a second bottle in a bag, Lord...
Won't they be jolly waxy?
He takes and wraps a fourth bottle, puts it into his bag, closes it, goes to leave.
Well, that's a bottle apiece.
Jack and Charley enter, confront Lord Fancourt at the door. They escort him back to the table.
Hello, Babs.
Jack takes the bag from Lord Fancourt, puts it on the table.
We've just been over to your rooms to find you.
Really?
Yes, we've been talking about you.
Have you indeed?
He snatches the bag and makes for the door.
Well, ta-ta for now.
Charley stops him at the door. Charley and Jack escort him back as before, returning the bag to the table.
Don't go, Babs. You wanted to see us, didn't you?
Oh, yes. Oh, I just wanted to borrow some fizz, but...
Sorry, you can't. I could have spared you a couple of bottles, but that fool Brassett...
Oh, yes, I know my fellows just the same. There's no reasoning with them, is there? Well, ta-ta.
Lord Fancourt feigns to bolt again. Charley and Jack miss him, but manage to land on the table, securing the bag. Pause. Stalemate. Lord Fancourt grins.
I looked you up last night, Babs, but you were out.
Yes, you know Freddie Peel, don't you? He's an awful idiot. Hasn't a particle of brains. But I'm all right. He gave me a card party last night, and I won £100 from him. You should have seen his face.
Well, Freddie Peel hasn't a sixpence.
No. Really?
Did he pay you?
No, but he's going to when his grandmother dies.
Why, the old lady has been dead for years.
Oh, really? That's beastly. You know, that leaves me stumped. He's had an awful lot out of me. But he's an awful idiot, isn't he? Never mind. I'm all right.
He picks up his bag.
Well, ta-ta, I'm off.
This time he attempts to bolt towards the window, but again, he's intercepted and brought back, and the bags returned to the table.
I say, Babs, we want you to stay for lunch and have lunch with us today.
I say, you chaps, don't you play the giddy goat. I've got to meet my tutor.
Oh, Babs, you mustn't work like this. You're looking quite pulled down.
Am I really?
I was only just telling Jack just now.
Oh dear. Do you think I shall die?
No, not you. You don't want to worry about this study. You'll be a great man, one of some sort or other, one of these days.
Well, that's what I think. But I ought to do something. We've had a wonderful lot of Johnnies in our family, in the army, and the navy, and things.
I'll bet they never kill themselves to study.
No, but I must do something.
Of course, Babs. You must stay to lunch. Charlie's aunt is going to pay him a visit.
No, really? What fun. I know Charlie visits his uncle sometimes when he's hard up.
Lord Fancourt pulls Charlie's watch out by the chain.
So it's only right his aunt should return the visit.
Bit of horseplay pushing Lord Fancourt to and fro, during which Charlie regains his watch.
Now, that's just the sort of thing we want. A jolly, smart chap like you, full of fun, fond of humor and bags of brilliant conversation.
Yes, Babs, that's it.
And to interest and amuse a charming lady.
No, really? Who is she?
Why, Charlie's aunt.
What's she like?
Well, you see,
Well-
Babs, we don't quite know. I'm to see her today for the first time.
Oh, I say, Charlie, she may turn out to be an awful old crock.
She's a widow and a millionaire. That's enough, isn't it?
Rather.
We didn't care to ask Freddie Peel, did we, Charlie?
No.
No.
No, he's an awful idiot. I say, what's her name?
Donna Lucia Dalvidores.
My, oh my. What a name.
Lord Fancourt seizes the bag again. This time he bolts for the door. Jack and Charlie bring him back, turn him round, and run him up to the table, upon which he falls face downwards, putting bag on the table.
Look here, Babs. It's no use. You must stay to lunch. You'll find Charlie's aunt a charming old lady.
Charming old lady, I say. Look here, haven't you got anything younger coming?
Oh, yes. 2 other ladies.
Nice? Young?
Yes.
Ah, that's more in my line. How many did you say?
2.
Oh, I see. 1 for each of you and the old crock for me. No, thank you. I'm off.
Lord Fancourt bolts towards the window with his bag and is brought back as before.
Now listen, Babs. This is an awfully serious affair.
I should think so, with an old crock like that.
And we want your help as a friend.
Yes, Babs, a friend that we can trust, eh?
Rather.
We'll take you into our confidence. No humbug, straight as a die. We're in love.
What? Charlie as well? You silly ass.
No fool of a flirtation business, but the real, downright serious thing.
Jack sits on the corner of the writing table.
And Babs, if you knew the girls as well as we do, you wouldn't wonder at it.
And they're coming here to lunch today.
I say. Have you proposed?
No, that's just it.
Oh, I see. You want me to propose for you?
No. We'll do it ourselves. That's why we've asked them to come.
You know, Babs, you don't understand our feelings a bit.
Oh, don't I, though? I say.
He rises, beckons the boys to him.
Have you noticed how sad I've been lately?
Yes.
Yes, we have. What is it?
Well, I don't know, but I think I'm in love too.
What makes you say that?
I'm always wanting to be alone, wanting to hear the birds sing, and I'm getting terribly fond of poetry. I can't sleep. I even took to drink for a couple of days, but I was maybe ill for a week, so I left it off.
Well, you've got all the symptoms. Sit down and tell us all about it.
You remember when I was ploughed?
Beastly shame.
No, last time, the term before, I was awfully ill and took to the yacht around the Mediterranean. At Monte Carlo, I came across an English officer named Delahaye. Quite penniless and dying he was, Jack. He tried to commit suicide.
Bad luck at the tables, eh?
Yes, he beggared himself and his only child, the sweetest little girl you ever saw. So, to amuse him and keep his spirits up, I used to play cards with him.
And what became of him?
He died, the poor fellow.
And what became of the sweetest little girl you ever saw?
I lost sight of her. A lady traveling home that way from South America, I believe, took charge of her and brought her to England. You know, Jack, I tried to tell her that...
That you loved her?
Oh, yes. But she was in such grief that...
That it oozed out of your fingertips and the points of your hair?
Something like that. But I suppose I might have been rejected and I should have looked a silly ass.
At any rate, you can sympathize with us.
Brassett knocks off stage.
Hello. Oh, here's the messenger back.
Jack, Lord Fancourt, and Charlie all hurry across to Brassett as he re-enters with a letter, which he hands to Jack. Jack opens the letter, reads.
They're coming!
They all look over each other's shoulders to read the letter. Lord Fancourt takes the letter from Jack.
By Jove!
Charlie takes it from him. Lord Fancourt is left staring at his thumb and first two fingers spread out.
So they are.
You'll say, Babs.
Oh, I say, look here.
He gestures at his attire.
Nah, you'll do as you are. We won't let you go now, now that we've got you.
Oh, but look here, Jack, don't play the giddy goat. I've something else to do.
What is it?
It's something awfully important.
Well, what?
I'm going to play in some amateur theatricals.
Oh, rot. He'll be ploughed again, won't he, Charlie?
Oh, but I've given my word.
What are you playing?
A lady. An old lady. And I've never acted in my life before, so I'm going to try on the things before the fellows come.
Oh, you can try them on here. Well, where are they?
In my rooms, in a box on the bed, but...
Jack turns to Brassett, still at the sideboard.
Fetch him, Brassett, quick as you can.
Brassett exits.
No, I'll fetch them with my little bag.
He grabs his bag and makes for the window. Jack and Charlie intercept him. They struggle for the bag. Jack gets it and throws it casually down on the table. Lord Fancourt picks it up, very concerned. He takes a step or two down and shakes the bag gently to hear if any bottles are broken, then runs his hand underneath to see if they are leaking. Reassured, he puts a bag on the chair beside the table. Lord Fancourt pulls out 2 whiskies, hands a decanter to Charlie. Charlie pours himself a whiskey.
Babs, you don't sympathize with us one bit.
Don't I, though? I only wish I could see my own little girl.
Well, dare say she'll turn up one of these days. Drink?
No, I've knocked it off.
Oh, just a small one.
I'm teetotal.
Oh, very well. Here you are, Charlie.
Oh, all right, I'll have it.
Lord Fancourt seizes a glass.
Tell you what we'll do. We'll drink to her health, wherever she is. Here's to the future Lady Fancourt Baverley. What did you say her name was?
The slightest idea.
Go on with you. To Miss Delahaye.
They all drink. Brassett returns with a large brown cardboard box with gilt edges like an exaggerated chocolate box.
Your things, my lord.
Thank you, Brassett. You're an awfully good chap. I say, Jack, could you lend me half a crown?
Lord Fancourt turns upstage and puts the box on the window seat.
Charlie, have you a half a crown?
Charlie pulls out linings of his trouser pockets.
No, Jack, I haven't.
Brassett, give me half a crown, will you?
Brassett sighs and takes out a handful of money to give Jack half a crown.
Yes, sir.
Jack goes to Lord Fancourt.
Babs, here you are.
Jack gives half crown and crosses to Charlie.
Thanks.
Lord Fancourt crosses to Brassett, gives him the half crown.
Brassett, here you are.
Lord Fancourt turns, puzzled, crosses to Jack, who whispers to him, points to Brassett, then twice to himself, then to Brassett again. Brassett moves the bag and exits. Charlie points to the box.
What have you got there?
Chocolates?
Chocolates?
Let's have a look.
No, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll try them on after lunch while you're all in the garden.
Well, you can't do that. We shall want you with us. Try them on now. It won't take long, will it?
Only a minute or two. I've lost an awful lot of time over these theatricals, but next term I mean to work.
Lord Fancourt exits. We hear Kitty and Amy off stage.
Oh, yes, here it is. Here's the name. Oh, it is Mr. Chesney. I wonder if they're in.
There's a knock at the door.
Here they are. And your aunt's not come yet.
Jack rushes to the mantelpiece to see the time, notices photographs, slants him face down, arranges tie, smooths his hair, all in a hurry. And
Good gracious, what shall we do?
Brassett enters, goes to the door.
Oh, let them come in. Oh, we can explain. Show them in, Brassett.
Brassett opens the door, shows in Kitty and Amy. He closes the door and exits.
How do you do? It's so kind of you to come.
Oh, we were very pleased to be able to come.
They both cross to the table.
Weren't we, Amy?
Oh, yes. Mr. Wickham, are we too early?
Oh, no.
They shake hands and move up to the table together. Charley, in his nervousness, backs into the chair, then offers it to Amy. She sits.
Yes, Mr. Chesney, you didn't mention a time.
Jack offers Kitty the chair by the writing table. She sits.
Oh, not at all. We're delighted. She'll be here soon.
Lord Fancourt enters in his shirt sleeves. He sees the girls and bolts back to the bedroom. Charley, from behind the table, leans over, hides the drink and the rest with his hat.
And this is where you think and study and do all your work and everything?
Jack rapidly takes a decanter from the table and hides it in the fireplace. Then he returns to the chair behind his table.
Oh, yes. We do a lot of that sort of thing here.
You've jolly caught us here.
I'm so glad you were able to come here today. You're off to Scotland tomorrow, and we shall miss you so much.
Yes, Uncle always takes us to some dreadfully remote place at this time of the year, where we'll never see a soul, and it's so dreary.
Why does he?
I don't know.
It's a shame.
Why are you so sorry we're going?
Sorry? Why, it's put me and Jack into a perfect fever. That's why we're so anxious to see you here today.
It's lucky Uncle is away in town, or I don't think we would have come.
Why not?
I don't know, but he raises such odd objections, and then you know he's so particular about Kitty.
Why?
She's an heiress, you know, and he's her guardian.
Miss Verdun, have you forgotten that dance the other night? I never shall.
No.
Those stolen moments in the garden by ourselves were the very happiest of all my life. Out there in the moonlight. The moonlight. Moonlight is the true atmosphere for sentiment.
I wonder, how many people have said that?
Oh, Kitty, I know when you like, you can be an awful plague, but today you're quite cynical.
I know I am. I'm thinking of that man.
What man?
My guardian, Mr. Spettigue, who hurries us away from all of our friends for fear of...
For fear of what?
Oh, I don't know.
Why does he?
Because he's a selfish, wicked old man.
Are you really so sorry to go away?
No, I'm angry. But don't speak about it anymore, or as Amy says, I shall cry.
What a dear, sweet old lady your aunt must be, Mr. Wickham. I'm longing to know her. Where is she?
Jack!
Panicking, he beckons to Jack. Jack goes to him. Charley whispers.
Where's my aunt?
What?
Charley shrugs and returns to Kitty. Kitty and Amy see nothing of this last scene.
Oh, why, she's hardly arrived yet.
Oh, no. Kitty, Mr. Wickham's aunt hasn't come yet.
Hasn't come? Oh dear. Then we must... Well, we'll run along and do some shopping, and then we'll come back. Shan't be long. Goodbye.
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 Jack and Charley look at each other blankly. They both sit at the table.
See that? Off like a shot when they found your aunt wasn't here.
Makes an awful difference, doesn't it?
Now look here. You cut off to the station and bundle the old girl here in a fly.
Charlie picks up his hat from the table and goes to the door. He turns.
Young girl, what do you mean?
Well, your aunt. Meanwhile, I'll see you after the lunch and keep an eye on Babs.
All right. I say, Jack, I feel happier since I've seen them. Don't you?
Yes. Now be off with you.
Charlie leaves, and Jack goes to the writing table. Lord Fancourt enters cautiously, still in shirt sleeves and waistcoat.
I say, old chap, have you got any hairpins?
Brassett enters.
Hairpins? Great Scott, no.
May I send your man for some?
Yes, certainly.
I say, have you got sixpence?
No, afraid not.
Why, you haven't got anything. I say, Brassett, I gave you half a crown just now. Do you mind making it 2 shillings and getting me 6 penny worth of hairpins?
Certainly, my lord.
Well, hey, you can keep the change.
Brassett leaves.
I say, Jack, were those the girls?
Yes. But what the deuce made you jump out like that? They might have seen you.
I didn't know they were here.
A sudden knock at the outer door.
Oh, look out. There's somebody else.
Lord Fancourt bolts and exits to the bedroom.
By George. There was a lot of hope in what Kitty said. In another minute, I might have told her that But never mind. Everything is going on splendidly.
Another knock.
Come in.
Colonel Sir Francis Chesney enters. He's tall, good-looking, smart in appearance and manner, actually 51, but looks younger. He's just arrived from London.
Jack!
Jack turns, surprised and delighted.
Dad!
My dear boy.
They shake hands.
Dear old Dad, what brings you here? Wherever have you come from?
From town, my lad. To have a chat with you and to bring you your check.
Oh, thanks, Dad. You're a brick.
A bit overbaked, my boy, after all my years in India.
A bit crisp, Dad.
Am I? How do you make that out?
Well, how old are you?
What do you say to 50?
50?
1.
Who'd believe it?
And you, Jack, seem much older than I was at your age. I suppose it's the times. Even the old college shows it. New ivy, new paint.
He looks at the quad through the window.
Well, Alma Mater is still an old beauty, Dad.
I suppose she is, by aid of the gentle artifices of the toilet. Well, we all grow old.
He sits by the table, takes out pocketbook containing check, already made out to Jack, and a bundle of long bills pinned together.
Why, dear old Dad, even you at 50...
1.
Well, 50 years ago, you would have been a stout, white-haired or bald, top-booted, domineering old boy. Instead, here you are, a smart, bang-up-to-date sort of chap one could talk to like a chum. Now, how have you done it?
Don't know.
Do you drink?
All I want.
Eat well?
Never noticed.
Well, there you are. Consequently, good health, temper perfect. We are going to be great pals, Dad.
Here you are, my boy. That's your check to go on with.
Oh, thanks, Dad. I haven't seen half enough of you.
I see your hospitality.
I hope, Dad...
Never mind. Same when I was a lad.
I've been done over that wine monstrously.
Were you? Never mind, so was I.
Sir Francis rises.
Done over everything, Montreal at college. But settle up, always settle up. I'm very satisfied with you, boy. It's quite something to go down from college with a record like yours.
He picks up a cigar box.
I say, my boy, where the deuce did you get these cigars?
Oh, those, Dad?
That accounts for the bills. And now, my lad, we must begin to think.
Think?
Now that I have come into the family title, as you know, I have also, which you don't know, come into the family debts and difficulties.
Debts?
Which are far more than I expected, with the result that all the money I've been saving for you in India goes to pay them. And in short, Jack, you and I, for the next few years, will be, comparatively speaking, poor men.
Poor men?
However, I'm in hopes of a small appointment for you in Bengal.
Sir Francis goes to the fireplace as Brassett enters.
Bengal? What a horrible place.
Jack turns and sees Brassett as he passes.
What is it, Brassett?
Brassett holds up, by a fine string loop, a tiny brown paper packet.
His lordship's hairpins, sir.
Confound his hairpins.
Brassett exits.
By George. I must get rid of Babs somehow if the dad stays. Stays. Oh, why not? Dad, I have an idea. Couldn't this matter be settled by, a wealthy marriage?
Shame on you, lad. That's the sort of thing I rather deprecate. I really don't think.
Listen. My chum Charlie Wickham, well, that's Charlie's Wickham's aunt, Donna Lucia de Alvadores, is coming here to lunch today. She is a widow.
A widow?
A widow and a millionaire.
And a millionaire.
And a charming woman.
No, Jack, I don't think I'd advise you to do such a thing. A thing of this kind merely for the sake of money.
Oh, no, not me. Dad, you.
Me? Why, you young rascal? No, I shall never marry again.
Oh, Dad, please. Think it over. Where are your things?
At the hotel.
Go and change. Make yourself look as nice as possible. Then come back to lunch at 1 o'clock and... Oh, Dad, put a flower in your buttonhole.
We hear Charlie shout off stage.
I say,
Charlie enters hurriedly with a telegram, almost running into Sir Francis.
Dad, Charlie Wickham. Charlie, my father.
Glad to know you, my boy. Glad to know you.
Her nephew. Nice boy. You like him.
I thought it was the fire brigade.
He goes to the fireplace.
Don't forget, put a flower in your buttonhole. Takes years of a man, a flower in his buttonhole.
Sir Francis takes his hat and stick and gloves from the sideboard.
No, Jack, you come and lunch with me at the meter instead.
Now, don't be rash, Dad. See her first.
Very well. All right, Jack. I'll have a look at her. Well, just a look, mind.
Sir Francis leaves, and Jack turns to Charlie.
Well, what is it?
Excited, Charlie gives him the telegram.
Read that.
Important business. Don't expect me for a few days. Lucia de Alvadores. Oh, no.
He's not coming.
But she must. Go and wire another telegraph.
No use. There's no time.
But hang it, the girls won't stay without a chaperone. What are we to do?
Charlie looks out the window.
Couldn't you ask the proctor's wife, old Mrs.
You'd sit and stare like an owl.
Here they are. They're coming. What on earth are we to do?
We hear Lord Fancourt off stage.
I say, Jack, come and look at me.
Irritated, Jack turns up stage and goes to the door.
What the deuce is it now?
He opens the door, looks off.
By George! Charlie, come here, quickly. Do you know what a pious fraud is?
Charlie goes to him, puzzled.
Pious fraud?
Yeah, first cousin to a miracle. Look!
What is it?
Babs. It's Babs, your aunt.
Babs? My aunt?
It's the only one you've got, so you'll have to make best of her.
I say, chaps, look here.
Lord Fancourt enters, now dressed as an old lady. He wears a black satin dress, a wig, a cap, and all the rest.
How's this?
Splendid.
Lord Fancourt promenades up and down, smiling benignly. Charlie looks on in amazement.
Absolutely splendid.
There's a loud knock at the outer door.
Who's that?
He goes to bolt. Jack seizes him by the shoulders.
The girls.
The girls?
Charlie's aunt can't come.
Can't she? Oh, dear. Well, I better go and take these things off.
Jack grabs him, assisted by Charlie.
No.
No?
No, they won't stop if you do.
Won't stop? What do you mean?
You must be Charlie's aunt.
What? Me? No.
Show them in, Brassett.
Brassett opens the door, and Lord Fancourt tries to hide behind Jack and Charlie. Kitty and Amy enter airing a bunch of flowers and tissue paper. Glimpsing them, Lord Fancourt recoils as though hit in the face, clamping his hand over his nose and mouth.
Ah, you've got back. So glad.
Brassett exits.
Yes, we've been rather longer than we intended, but I wanted to get some flowers for Charlie's aunt. Has she come?
Yes, has she? I do hope she's come.
Oh, yes, she's come.
Jack and Charlie move aside, revealing Lord Fancourt. Jack introduces them.
Donna Lucia, Miss Pettigrew, Miss Verdun, girls, Donna Lucia de Avadores, Charlie's aunt. Go on, say something.
Lord Fancourt stares at them blankly.
How do you do, my dears?
We called upon you before, Donna Lucia, but you hadn't arrived.
And we've brought you these flowers.
He takes them.
Oh, thank you.
Amy joins Charley as they move upstage.
I do hope your journey from town hasn't tired you.
Oh no, it was very jolly. Pleasant? Pleasant.
Kitty goes upstage to join Amy and Charley, and Lord Fancourt whispers to Jack, holding up the flowers.
What the deuce am I supposed to do with these?
Stick him in your dress.
Lord Fancourt pokes flowers in his bodice, tries to see over them, can't, so parts them, and peers between. Brasset enters, sees the flowers, nearly explodes, and turns to the sideboard hurriedly, choking back laughter.
You look worried, Mr. Wickham. Are you ill?
No, not ill. Anxious. I'm very, very...
He's a little affected at meeting his aunt today for the first time.
Jack prods Lord Fancourt and whispers.
Why the dickens don't you say something?
What the dickens am I supposed to say?
Talk about the weather.
Charming. Charming weather,
Oh, yes, delightful.
Oh, yes, it is charming.
It is charming.
Still suppressing his laughter, Brasset goes to the door, mutters as he exits.
Well, college gents will do anything.
Lord Fancourt whispers to Jack.
You do know you're placing me in a terribly false position.
Amy approaches them.
May I arrange these for you, Donna Lucia?
Lord Fancourt takes the flowers out of his dress and hands them over.
After all, you know, we do sometimes have some nice weather here in poor England.
What on earth does she mean by that?
Why, you're a foreigner.
A foreigner? What did you say my name was?
Donna Lucia de Avadores.
Oh, what am I? Irish?
No, English. You married a Portuguese abroad.
Now you are a widow.
From Brazil.
And a millionaire.
Oh, I say. Charlie, have I any children?
No, you fool.
Brasset enters with tray, presses down on the table, and arranges the luncheon things. Kitty and Amy help.
Well, one ought to know. Okay, that's all right. Now I can go ahead. Yes, it is indeed wonderful weather for England.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yes.
Shall I take them to see the chapel and the cloisters?
Jack and Charlie pull him back violently in the chair.
No, you leave that to me and Charlie. We'll attend to them.
Of course, Oxford is all very new to me. New to you, Donna Lucia, but it's a dear old place in any weather. Amy and I will show you all about.
Oh, I shall be delighted.
He rises. They push him back as before.
You're staying until tomorrow, are you not?
Am I staying until tomorrow?
Jack replies quickly and too loudly.
No.
No.
Oh.
She returns to the table and helps to lay lunch.
Oh, but surely you will. You must. Mustn't she, Kitty?
I'm afraid Auntie can't stay after today.
No, you see, it's my washing day.
Yes, she has so much business to attend to in town.
Yes, lawyers, stocks.
Yes, stocks and socks. All very important, you know.
Oh, I'm so sorry. We have so long to know you.
Oh, have you, my dear?
He takes Amy's hand, strokes it.
Yes, Mr. Wickham has told us so much about you. So much that he has made us to quite love you.
Lord Fancourt slips his arm around Amy's waist.
Has he indeed, my dear?
Charlie takes Lord Fancourt's arm away angrily. Lord Fancourt replaces it. Charlie pulls it away again. Amy kneels. Lord Fancourt slips his arm around her shoulders and gives Amy a little hug and darts Jack and Charlie a look of triumph. Charlie's furious, sulks. Kitty also kneels by Lord Fancourt.
Oh, he's so grateful. He says he owes everything to you and never could repay you. And oh, he's such a good, frank, upright man. It was so noble of you.
Of course, my dear, it was only my duty to see after the welfare of my poor brothers.
Sisters, you fool.
Sisters, you fool. Sisters. And brother-in-law's orphan girl.
Boy.
Oh, boy. I'll say twins in a minute.
Bassett finishes laying the luncheons, exits.
Yes, but it was so good of you to find out. You were so far away in a foreign land, and he might have been left to starve or to fall into cruel hands. But you have a good, kind, affectionate nature.
Oh, have I, my dear?
Anyone can see it in your face.
Oh, no.
I feel I could tell my whole heart to you.
Don't let her.
Oh, I'm not going to. The dear little thing.
You don't mind me talking to you like this, do you?
My dear, you are a very charming little girl of who I'm sure I could soon grow very fond.
He looks over Amy's head at Charley and waves. Charley shakes a fist at him.
And you must tell me all you like someday when you know me better.
Oh, I feel I've known you for years and years already.
She kisses Lord Fancourt, then joins Kitty by the window. Charley flies at Lord Fancourt, pinching him viciously. Then they both join the girls at the window.
They're jealous. I'm very sorry, but it was very nice.
Enter Brassett, hurrying to Jack.
Mr. Chesney.
Jack goes to him.
I beg your pardon, sir, but I heard Mr. Spettigue inquiring at the gate for your room, sir.
Oh dear.
Oh,
My uncle's back.
Mr. Spettigue.
They all rise, general consternation.
Mr. Spettigue is back. I thought he was in London.
Brassett draws the curtains of recess.
Mr. Chesney, I beg of you to send him away.
There's a knock at the outer door. Kitty, Amy, and Jack exit and hide in the recess. Brassett exits. Lord Fancourt looks scared. At the second knock, he bolts to the window and leaps on to window seat, about to get out. Charley bolts after him, seizes him round the waist as he is getting through the window, carries him downstage. Terrified, Lord Fancourt grabs Charley.
What am I to say? What am I to do?
Stay where you are, Babs. Tell him what you like. Only get rid of him.
Charley exits quickly through the curtains into recess. Another knock, louder. We hear Spettigue loud and angry, off stage.
Why doesn't somebody answer this door?
Stephen Spettigue enters. He is a well-to-do solicitor of about 56 to 60. He's dressed in a frock coat, grey cloth waistcoat, wearing a top hat, and carrying furled umbrella and gloves.
Why doesn't someone answer this door?
Lord Fancourt finds his courage.
What do you want?
I wish to see Mr. Chesney.
Where did you get that hat? Take it off, sir.
Spettigue removes his hat, goes to the table, and is about to sit.
Don't sit down, sir.
Spettigue straightens hurriedly.
Why, I'm not sitting down, and I didn't ask you to sit down.
We'll waive that for the present, madam. I wish to see Mr. Chesney at once.
Well, you can't see him. He's not present. I am the only person present.
But the porter told me that two young ladies, my niece and my ward, were here.
Well, I tell you, I am the only young lady present.
But he told me he saw them come in.
Lord Fancourt uses his fan to tap Spettigue's top hat.
And didn't he tell you he saw them go out?
He taps his hat twice.
No.
Well, very well then. What more do you want?
They've gone into the garden.
They've done nothing of the kind.
And they've gone into the town.
Well, why couldn't you have thought of that before? And now, sir, having got all the information you are likely to get in your present condition...
Madam!
Disgraceful! Where have you been?
What do you mean, madam? I am annoyed, but perfectly sober.
Well, you don't look it. Other people can be annoyed as well as yourself.
He sits and picks up a book.
Madam, I apologize. Good morning.
He puts his hat on, turns to go, and as he does so, Lord Fancourt half rises and throws a book. It knocks Spetigue's head off. Lord Fancourt sits again and assumes a superior air. Bemused, Spetigue retrieves his hat, pointing to it.
Did you see anything strike that hat?
Oh, I beg your pardon?
Did you see anything strike that hat?
He wants me to do it again.
He strikes his hat with the fan. Spetigue puts on the hat and exits angrily. Lord Fancourt goes upstage towards recess, calling to the girls.
Oh, my dears.
Kitty and Amy re-enter, followed by Jack and Charley.
That was so sweet of you.
You darling.
One on each side of Lord Fancourt, they kiss him.
Look at him, Jack.
I'll punch his head if he does it again.
A knock. Brassett enters, announces.
Sir Francis Chesney.
Ah, here's my father.
He goes to Lord Fancourt.
Donna Lucia.
Lord Fancourt comes down to Jack. Aside, Jack cautions him.
Take care. It's my father.
Am I any relation to him?
No, you're Charlie's aunt from Brazil.
Brazil? Where's that?
You know, where the nuts come from.
Lord Fancourt is hurried onto a chair beside the writing table. Charley stands in front of Lord Fancourt, screening him from the door as before. Sir Francis Chesney enters. He's changed into a frock coat, silk cap, stick, and carries gloves, and wears a deep cerise red carnation. Jack introduces Kitty and Amy.
Miss Verdun, my father.
Delighted.
Miss Spetigue, my father.
Kitty and Amy bow.
Charmed.
Brassett takes his hat and stick and places them on a hat rack in recess and exits.
Thank you. Now, Jack, has she come?
Oh, yes, she's come. Go on, Charlie, introduce your aunt.
Donna Lucia d'Alvadores, Sir Francis Chesney, Jack's father.
Sir Francis stares at Lord Fancourt.
How do you do, Sir Francis?
How do you do?
I'm Charlie's aunt from Brazil, where the nuts come from.
Charley discreetly kicks Lord Fancourt, then goes upstage and joins the ladies in the window. Lord Fancourt holds his leg in pain. Sir Francis turns to his son.
I say, Jack.
Yes?
Is that the lady?
Yes.
Sir Francis points to the flower in his buttonhole.
By George!
He turns to leave. Jack catches his arm to stop him.
Oh, don't go, Dad.
He then crosses rapidly to Lord Fancourt, aside, hurriedly.
Go on. Charlie's told you all about him.
Lord Fancourt...
Charlie's told you all about him.
No.
No.
My nephew Charles.
My nephew Charles has told me so much about you in his letters. His letters. That's all right, isn't it?
No, it isn't.
Well, do it yourself.
I'm much obliged to Mr. Wickham, but I only met him today for the first time.
See? Yes, but Dad, I've been simply photographing you to Charlie for years.
Oh, yes, he's a splendid photographer.
Remember, you've only just come to England, and you've never seen Charlie until today.
Why the deuce didn't you say so before?
Brassett re-enters from recess.
Jack!
Jack goes quickly to Sir Francis.
My dear boy, it's impossible.
What, Dad?
Well, just look at her.
Eh? Oh, good gracious.
Luncheon is ready, sir.
Brassett takes a dish cover to the sideboard, and Charlie brings Amy and Kitty to the luncheon table. Jack crosses to Lord Fancourt, whispers.
Take my father, and be careful how you talk to him. Dad, will you take Donna Lucia?
You'll sit beside me, won't you, Sir Francis?
They all sit.
I shall be delighted. You've traveled a great deal, I suppose.
Oh, yes, I've always been a great traveller, Sir Francis. I came all the way from London only this morning.
Brassett looks about for champagne throughout the scene. Charlie serves mayonnaise.
Don Lucia, aunt. Aunt. There it is.
Oh, thank you.
Miss Pettigrew.
Yes, please.
Miss Verdun.
Please.
Oh, what a pretty flower.
Do you like it? Will you accept it?
Oh, thank you. I'll have it stuffed.
He puts it in his dress.
Jack, mayonnaise. Open the wine, Brassett.
You have very pleasant rooms here, Mr. Chesney.
Brassett pours a claret into Sir Francis' glass and turns to the sideboard to watch the result.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes, they're awfully nice rooms, Mr. Chesney, I'm sure. Don't you think so, Sir Francis?
Pleasanter today than usual, I fancy. Donna Lucia, may I have the pleasure?
He sips the wine and puts the glass down in disgust.
Jack, my boy, where did you get this stuff?
May I have a little water, please?
Open the champagne, Brassett.
I can't find it, sir.
Lord Fancourt laughs to himself.
Can't find it. Do you know where it is, Charlie?
Looking about the room, under the table, etc.
No.
Jack looks sternly to Brassett.
So, what's become of it? I thought it was on ice.
Lord Fancourt taps the table with a spoon, and they all look to him.
What is it? What do you want?
The champagne, the Lucia.
Well, haven't you got any? Well, I thought you'd forget something, so I brought some with me in my bag. In my bag, Brassett.
Jack discreetly punches Lord Fancourt. Spedigue enters in a rage, with hat on.
Ah!
Ah,
All rise except Sir Francis.
So I was right after all, and that old fool of a woman told me they weren't here.
Jack takes the bull by the horns, steps forward, offering his hand, gaily.
Oh, Mr. Spetigue.
Don't you address me, sir. And this is the way you take advantage of my absence.
Mr. Spetigue.
Don't address me, sir. I have no wish to hold any converse with you.
But won't you allow us to explain?
Spedigue points to Jack.
My business is with this young man, sir, not you.
But you won't listen to either of them.
Go away, madam, and don't interfere.
Where did you get that hat? Take it off, sir.
Spedigue takes off his hat, and Jack confronts him again.
You forget yourself, sir.
Perhaps you'll remember, sir, that ladies are present.
I disapprove of their presence and request them to return with me.
We can discuss this matter on a more fitting occasion.
Certainly, a most excellent suggestion. Let him call again.
You're a very foolish old woman, and I must beg you not to interfere.
Spedigue goes and stands at the door.
Ladies, come.
Kitty and Amy move forward reluctantly. But Lord Fancourt puts out his arms to bar the way, and they each take his arm instead.
Sir, you cannot put such an affront upon Mr. Wickham's friends.
I don't know them, and I don't know you.
Introduce me, Mr. Wickham.
Mr. Spetigue, Sir Francis Chesney.
Spedigue barely acknowledges the introduction.
Mr. Chesney is my son, sir, and this lady is...
Lord Fancourt stands between the two girls, affecting to be hurt.
Pray, don't introduce him to me. I've been sufficiently insulted by the old bound gentleman already.
I consult my own feelings when I say that I am deeply annoyed to find on prematurely returning from town my niece and my ward lunching without my permission with these two young gentlemen.
To meet Mr. Wickham's aunt.
Indeed?
There is no indeed about it, sir. I repeat, to meet Mr. Wickham's aunt.
In my mind, it matters little.
In my mind, it matters everything. Therefore...
Kitty and Amy let go of Lord Fancourt's arms.
Allow me to introduce you. Donna Lucia Dalvadores. Mr... What's his confounded name, Jack?
Donna Lucia.
Mr. Spetigue.
Donna Lucia. The celebrated millionaire. Oh, how do you do?
How do you do? I am Charlie's aunt from Brazil, where the nuts come from.
Jack pushes Lord Fancourt, who stumbles against Spedigue. Lord Fancourt tries to turn the fall into an awkward curtsy, then glares furiously at Jack.
I'm so sorry. I've been rather indiscreet. I am sorry, so very, very, very sorry.
Charley goes up round back of the table, takes Amy back to the luncheon table.
Go on, he's apologizing. Ask him to lunch.
Jack takes Kitty back to the luncheon table.
Well, I thought you were very rude, but if you apologize, you know.
Oh, by all means, I am so sorry, so very sorry.
In that case, you'll stay to lunch, won't you?
Brassett takes the hat and stick from Spedigue.
If you wish it, and I am forgiven?
Forgiven. Here, accept this flower as a peace offering.
He puts Sir Francis' flower into Spedigue's coat. Curtain music starts playing very softly.
My flower! That's my flower!
He crosses to confront Lord Fancourt and Spedigue. Charley and Amy and Kitty are now seated as before, and Jack offers his arm to Lord Fancourt.
Allow me, Donna Lucia.
No, allow me.
Spedigue offers his arm. Lord Fancourt hesitates, flutters his eyelashes at them both, then chooses Spedigue's arm. They go to the table. Sir Francis leaves them and goes to a chair which he holds ready for Lord Fancourt. Spedigue offers to take the chair from Sir Francis. Sir Francis refuses. Lord Fancourt is about to sit when the chair is drawn back. Lord Fancourt falls to the floor, and the others rise with screams and exclamations. Music swells. Curtain. End of Act 1. Right, so now we'll have a 5-minute intermission. See you back shortly. And if you're following on in the YouTube channel, now's a great time to ask your questions to the actors. We'll be answering the Q&A at the end of the performance. We'd love to know what's on your mind, whether it's good or bad or ugly. Please let us know what your questions are, and let us know who you are too. This play is presented by Line Runs, which is a service for actors who can nail their auditions and learn lines in record time. If you're interested in finding out more about our play readings, which are taking place during the COVID lockdown, please register your email address, and you'll also get notifications about workshops and potential casting notices for yourself too. If you're a writer, you can also submit a play, and we may be able to arrange a play reading of your work also. So definitely sign up. Just fill in your email address on the registration form at the bottom of the page that you're now on, lineruns.com. See you again very shortly. See you again very shortly. And those of you who are following us on Facebook, if it's a little easier for you, then you can also leave your questions there, and we'll respond at the end of the performance also. We have one comment from Antoine Poncelet. You are all incredible. Wish this was on a stage. Thanks for your feedback. It's really nice to hear that. This is quite a wild situation we're in right now, but it's quite a treat to be able to work with actors from 5 different countries. And who knows, this could be the new stage version for the next while. So we're all adapting to new technologies. But definitely let us know where you are, Antoine. Maybe we could bring the show to you. And we have a comment from JB Bruno. For a Zoom reading, the interactions are very impressive and love the specificity of the characterizations. Nice work. Thank you, JB. Also, let us know where you are. We're very curious about where you're streaming from, and we're hoping that we have just as many friends around the world as we do countries represented by the actors. And if you're sitting on your seat, I definitely recommend that you keep stretching. We're on to the second act now. You'll see everyone moving in their seats. One of the fabulous things about being in an online reading is that you can look ridiculous and sound ridiculous. You can laugh at all the wrong times. You can even cry. You can fart if you must. Anything's possible. So make sure you're making the most of this experience. And a bit of trivia for you. The writer of this play actually played one of the characters on the West End. So I invite you to make a guess without Googling, please. Make a guess in the comment section as to who you think the writer which character Brandon Thomas played. And he played this role for several years. I'll let you know in the next break which role he played. Another thing it would be great to learn from you guys in the audience is if you have seen an adaptation of this work in a different language. The script has been translated at least in German, French, Korean, and Spanish. I know this much, but I imagine that there's even more interpretation. So if you've seen this play adapted in a different language, definitely let us know. We have one guess for which role Brandon Thomas played. Keep them coming.
I think Brassett.
You think Brassett? Okay. We have one vote for Brassett, one vote for the aunt. Keep the guesses coming. There needs to be a prize to incentivize you. You will receive a compliment during the Q&A if you guess correctly. You will receive a custom compliment from at least 2 of the actors in this play. So we have one guess for Sir Francis. Okay. So no, we have someone watching from New Zealand and loving it. That's great. So we have New Zealand and New York so far. And we'll get started again in just a couple minutes. I'll give you a clue. They're of a younger generation. The character the writer played was of the younger generation. That's all you're getting right now.
Oh.
Right. Let's continue on to Act 2. The scene takes place in the exterior of Chesney's rooms. Lights fill up. Brassett is discovered at the table, placing a cigarette box, ashtray, and matchbox from a salver.
Well, we're sailing along. He makes a wonderful old lady, no doubt about it. A bit singular to look at, perhaps, but then look at some of your old ladies. Nobody'd believe impossible, but he does seem a bit worse to look at than 2 or 3 I could mention holding a very high position too. Both the old gents have got their eye on her. Oh, Lord, if they only knew. I fancy Sir Francis's favourite, although old Spetigue fancies himself. Well, college gents will do anything.
Jack enters, sees Brassett. He comes to the table and confronts Brassett severely.
What are you laughing at, eh?
Oh, beg your pardon, sir. I was thinking of an old aunt of mine.
Eh?
Uncle, I mean.
Mind your own business. Now go and get tea. Do you see? Tea.
Tea, sir? Yes, sir.
Out here.
Out here, sir?
Yes, don't stare like that. It's all right. I've got special permission.
Beg your pardon, sir.
Brassett exits.
Well, now for Kitty. Where is she? Everything is going on all right at last. Babs frightened the life out of me 2 or 3 times at lunch. The way he walked into things as if he hadn't had any food for a month. But we've got over the worst. All the same, I haven't been able to have my chat with Kitty yet, but now they're all nicely settled down. I'd given her a hint to meet me here, where we can talk quietly.
Charley enters quickly. Jack rises, turns quickly, hearing footsteps.
Oh, here she is.
Both raise their hats and turn away in disgust.
Oh, hang it. I've the most particular appointment here with Kitty, so hook it.
So have I, Jack.
With Kitty?
No, with Amy.
Then we've both made appointments in the same place. Confound it all. What are we to do?
Well, they're your rooms.
Yes, but they're my guests. Well, come on. We'll toss for it. Got any money?
Charley turns out his pockets. Knife, string, a key, and a halfpenny.
A halfpenny, that's all.
Ah. Sudden death. Heads, you and Amy. Tails, me and...
Jack sees Kitty off stage.
Here she is.
Jack pockets the coin and crosses down left.
Jack, that's all the money I've got.
Kitty enters.
Oh, Mr. Chesney, there you are.
Yes, I'm here. In fact, waiting. I was beginning to fear you wouldn't come. Why don't you go? Haven't you no tact?
Amy enters.
But what about me and Amy?
Oh, Mr. Wickham, there you are.
Yes, I was coming. I was waiting. I'm here.
He goes to Amy, in exchange of angry looks between Jack and Charley.
Beastly awkward. Oh, I say, Charley, have you shown Miss Spetigue all around the garden?
Yes, Jack, I have. 2 or 3 times. In fact, we've just come from there. I wish he'd leave us.
Lovely garden, isn't it?
Yes, I suppose it is.
Suppose.
Jack goes behind Amy and Charley, taking them by the arm and leading them across the garden.
Oh, you haven't seen half of it. Charley, Miss Spetigue hasn't seen half of the garden.
Kitty watches with interest and amusement.
But Jack,
And Charley, why not tell Miss Spetigue those beautiful lines of yours? To our garden in the summer.
Don't tell her I write poetry. She'll think I'm an awful ass.
Amy joins them.
And don't forget, Miss Spetigue, tea here in half an hour.
Oh, very well, Mr. Chesney.
Amy exits slowly. Charley starts to follow her, then turns back.
But Jack, the others are in the garden, and it worries the life out of me to see Babs.
Kitty enters, goes to the table, sits.
Well, don't. It's a large garden. Keep out of his way.
Jack pushes Charley off stage. Jack approaches Kitty.
At last, Miss Verdon, my dear Kitty, we are alone.
Don't you think it was rather selfish of us, Mr. Chesney, to send them away like that?
Well, we tossed for it.
What?
I mean, they'll be much happier together, alone, it seems. As if I could never get 5 minutes with you safe from some miserable interruption. Indeed, I was beginning to fear you'd think me very rude, neglecting you as I have done.
Oh, no, not at all. I quite understand. I couldn't expect you to devote yourself entirely to me. Indeed, we've had a very pleasant time. And now,
Yes, and now?
I was thinking we ought to be going now.
Go, now. Good gracious, no.
Why not?
Before I've had a word with you, oh, my dear Miss Verdun, Kitty.
He approaches Kitty suddenly, about to put his arm around her waist. Kitty draws away in surprise.
Won't you sit down? I have something to say to you of importance.
Indeed, Mr. Chesney?
Yes. You know, Miss Verdun, there are times when a fellow's got to think a lot and think long.
I suppose so.
And there are times when a fellow mustn't stop to think, or if he does, he'll spoil his chances.
Yes.
Well then, Miss Verdun, Kitty, my dear Kitty.
He's about to take her when Sir Francis enters.
Oh, I beg pardon.
Kitty rises to go.
No, don't mind me. I only wanted a word with my boy here.
Oh, then I'll run into the garden and see the roses and the primroses and cabbages and things.
She exits.
Well, Dad, anything important?
Yes, Jack, it is.
Oh, what is it?
You know I'd do anything to see you get on in the world and make a mark, and as I know you will, if you get your chance.
Well, you needn't tell me this, Dad.
Well, Jack, having thought it over, I've decided that you shall continue the career I originally mapped out for you. And seeing a way out of the difficulty, I've determined to take your advice, my boy, and marry a lady of wealth.
I see. You've fallen victim to the fascination of some young and lovely.
No, Jack. She's not lovely, and I'm afraid she is not over young, but she is rich, which, after all, is the real object in this instance.
All right, Dad. As long as you are satisfied, go in and win.
And I have to thank you, my boy, for the tip.
Tip? What tip? Who is she? What's her name?
You'll be delighted when I tell you.
I will? Well?
Can't you guess?
No, Dad, I can't.
Why? Donna Lucia Dalvadores.
What? What the deuce? Dad, this is impossible.
Impossible? Why? You yourself suggested it, and for your sake, my lad, I'm going to do it.
But Dad, you can't.
Can't? Why not? Is there anything against the lady's reputation?
No, but you mustn't. You can't.
Mustn't, can't. Why, Jack, what a boy you are. Didn't you tell me to go to the hotel, change my things, put a flower in my buttonhole, and by George, Jack, I believe the flower's done the trick.
She gave it away, Dad.
My dear boy, she's explained all that.
Oh, this is horrible. But Dad, the circumstances have altered since then.
In what way?
You know, you're too good. You're not the man to be thrown away like this.
Oh, say no more, my boy. Your consideration for me settles it. It will put you forward years. Had she been young and lovely, she wouldn't have looked at me. As it is, I flatter myself she's taken rather a fancy to me. And as for old Spettigue, in spite of his marked attentions, I don't think he has the ghost of a chance with me.
Old Spettigue? Attentions? Great heavens, what are you doing, Dad?
Wish me luck, Jack, wish me luck.
Take time, Dad. Think it over.
Think it over? That's not the way an old soldier makes love. I'm going into your rooms to get myself a rattling good spanking brandy and soda to bring me up to mark.
Sir Francis exits to the rooms. Jack sees Charley off stage.
Great Scott, what's the young monkey doing?
Charley enters quickly.
Jack! I wish you'd speak to Babs. He's carrying on disgracefully. He's taken Amy away from me and gone off round the garden with her.
Well, that's nothing to what's going on here.
The cook props loudly in one of the rooms off stage. Both turn.
Well, hear that?
Yes. What is it?
My dad, getting himself a rattling good spanking brandy and soda.
Brandy and soda? What for?
To propose to Bab.
Bab? I knew something awful would come of this. We shall be found out and disgraced. How could you let it go on?
Well, don't blame me. It was the fault of your muddled-headed aunt, not knowing her own mind and leaving us in a lurch. I could strangle her.
What shall we do?
We must find Babs and put him up to the governor's game.
Find Babs? But Jack...
Now come on. We can go around the garden different ways until we've got him.
But Jack, can't you end this horrible...
Oh, shut up. We must keep our heads now, or we'll ruin everything. Come on.
They exit. Sir Francis re-enters, wiping his mustache after his drink.
Now I'm ready for anybody or anything. Why doesn't she come? I didn't tell the dear boy, but particularly when he raised objections, but she promised to meet me here in 10 minutes. And time's up, time's up.
Spedigue enters. He doesn't see Sir Francis. Hearing steps, he raises his hat, turns.
Ah, my dear Don.
Both raising their hats, they meet center and turn away abruptly.
That old fool Spedigue, and with my flower in his coat. Are you looking for anybody?
No.
What's he hanging about here for? Are you in want of anything?
He lights a cigarette and sits.
No. I was only thinking it was very lovely afternoon. Perhaps you haven't seen the garden. It's looking very beautiful. You ought to give it a good look before you go.
I will, before I go.
Spedigue looks off again.
What's he stopping here for? Have a cigarette?
No, thank you. I never smoke in the daytime. Why does he stay? She promised to meet me here in 10 minutes, and time's up. Time's up.
Spedigue goes upstage.
What's he stopping for? I must tell him to go.
I wish I could think of something to get rid of him.
Well, as you're not smoking...
Oh, don't mind me. Don't mind me.
I was only thinking perhaps it would be as well as you've rejoined the ladies in the garden. They might think it rude, both of us being away.
Perhaps so. Perhaps so. She's in the garden.
He exits to the garden.
Well, she doesn't appear to be coming. I think I'll go and have another tipple.
Jack enters.
I say, Dad, haven't you seen Donna Lucia, have you?
No, Jack, I've not.
Well, that's fortunate.
I'm waiting for her here.
Waiting for her here?
Yes, I have an appointment with her. I didn't tell you before, Jack, but she's due. In fact, she's overdue. So get out, my boy, get out.
They mustn't meet until I've seen him. Now, I come to think of it. Dad, I saw her only a moment ago.
Oh, where?
They're in the garden.
In the garden? Oh, hang it, I've just sent old Spedigue there.
Sir Francis exits to the garden.
I know Babs isn't there, but where on earth has he got to?
Charley enters.
Well, have you found him?
No. Haven't you?
No. I've looked all over the place for him.
So have I. And the worst of it is he's got Amy with him. It's a shame.
I'll kill the little monkey when I get hold of him.
Charley catches sight of Lord Fancourt and Amy off stage.
Look, there he is.
Lord Fancourt and Amy enter, arm in arm. Amy goes to Charley.
Ah, Mr. Wickham, there you are. Did you think you'd lost us?
Yes, I'm afraid I did.
Where have you been with that girl, you fool?
Nowhere.
Stay where you are. I'll tell her something.
Oh, have you?
Charley, has Miss Spedigue seen the chapel? Take her away while I tell to Babs. Yes, you must see the chapel. It's an awfully pretty chapel.
Amy exits.
I'll punch his head if he does it again.
Lord Fancourt flounces towards them. Charley strikes at Lord Fancourt over Jack's shoulder. Jeering, Lord Fancourt tips Charley's head off with his closed fan. Jack hustles Charley off. He then turns savagely, stalking Lord Fancourt with long strides and confronts him.
What the deuce do you mean by this game?
What game?
You promised to help us.
Well, I'm doing my best.
Doing your best? Your business was to look after those two old chaps, and here you are. Look, I have no wish to argue.
No, I shouldn't argue if I were you.
Listen, I want you to put you on your guard.
On my guard? Oh, thank you very much.
My dad's going to propose to you.
Propose?
Yes, propose.
Oh, well, that's all right. But I'm not going to marry him. Not for you or anybody else. I'll see you hanged first.
Well, of course not, the idiot. All you've got to do is to keep calm and refuse him.
Keep calm and refuse him. But a proposal puts anyone in a flutter. You know that.
All you've got to do is to remember that you're a real old lady.
How the dickens am I to remember I'm a real old lady with my trousers on?
Well, never mind your trousers. Look out. Here's Dad. I'm off.
Yes, but what am I to say? I've never been proposed to before.
Oh, say he's taken you by surprise, but whatever you do, be sure you refuse him.
Oh, yes. I'll refuse him.
Jack exits. Lord Fancourt hides. Sir Francis enters, looking at his watch.
Really, it's too bad. She made the proposition herself. It was a definite proposition of her own. Ladies are proverbially unpunctual, but...
Lord Fancourt peeps around the corner, appears in an archway, coyly holding up her finger with a fichu, neckcloth.
Ooh, ah.
Sir Francis turns, sees Lord Fancourt, raises his hat. Lord Fancourt turns coyly at Sir Francis.
Ah, my dear Donna Lucia, here you are. I was beginning to be afraid you weren't coming, and so I popped into the garden to find you.
Lord Fancourt, with long strides, steals quickly across to exit and is nearly off stage, but Sir Francis frustrates his attempt to bolt.
Won't you sit down?
Lord Fancourt reluctantly sits with Sir Francis at the table.
By Jove, got her at last. Now for the plunge. Begin with the compliment. I wonder what's her real age. However, a woman's never too old for a compliment, so here goes. Donna Lucia, you'll pardon the rude metaphor of an old campaigner, I'm sure, but to meet you today for the first time as I've done is to me like a lonely traveler coming across a bright little floweret by the wayside.
Do you mean me?
Yes, Donna Lucia, I mean you.
Oh.
By George, that's a good start.
What am I say to that, I wonder? Oh, yes. I think that's very nice and very kind of you.
By George, she looks anything between 50 and 100.
Jack appears in the arch at the back and shakes his fist at Lord Fancourt, who cocks a snook at him, unseen by Sir Francis. As Sir Francis turns, Lord Fancourt converts snook into stroking his white hair, his front hair, looking innocently at Sir Francis.
Well, I've put myself to it, so I must come to the point.
He clears his throat.
What, again?
Sir Francis returns to the table, pronounces.
Donna Lucia, do you know what a man longs for when he's lonely, desolate, and wretched?
A drink.
What a woman! Doesn't help one bit. No, Donna Lucia, this is what he longs for. He longs to plant in his own heart that bright little floweret.
Yes, I know, by the wayside. Does he really?
Yes, Donna Lucia, yes, indeed he does. And I've come all the way from India to find that little floweret.
Oh, you must be tired. Take a chair.
Thank you.
He sits at the table, placing his hat and crown downwards.
It's a long way, Donna Lucia.
Oh, quite a long walk.
But I have found it.
Well, why don't you wear it in your buttonhole?
Ah, will you let me? Or will it be given away to another as you did before?
Oh, yes, I remember. I was a naughty girl this morning.
He puts the corner of his fichu in his mouth, shaking it to and fro coyly, and putting his hand unconsciously on the table.
But dear Lucia.
He places his hand on top of Lord Fancourt's, giving it a pat, then removes it.
Oh, he's getting on.
The floweret, I mean, it must sit at the head of my table, walk by my side, dwell in my heart forever.
He places his right hand on his heart, and with his left hand slightly moves his hat. Lord Fancourt rises and looks quickly into his hat, sits again.
Oh, he's going to show me a conjuring trick.
But I'll waste no more words. I'll come to the point with a soldier's bluntness. Will you be my wife? Will you be my little floweret?
Well, you see, you've taken me so much by surprise.
Then may I hope?
I'm afraid not. Well, no, don't hope. I wouldn't hope if I were you.
I beg pardon, Donna Lucia. Do I understand your...
I must refuse you. The fact is, I am another's.
Another's?
Ah, I say, don't be downhearted. I'll tell you what I'll do.
Yes, yes.
I'll be a sister to you.
A sister? Only a sister?
Only a sister, nothing more.
And no words of mine can alter your decision.
I'm afraid not. You see, I'm in a more peculiar position than I could ever explain. I am a woman with a history.
Then it is quite useless our prolonging this interview. Will you accept my regrets and apologies for ever having broached the subject?
Oh, certainly. Any time you're passing.
Refused. What a relief. I'm sorry, though, for the boy's sake.
Sir Francis exits, and Jack enters.
Well, here's a nice position.
You fool. What did you make a fool of my dad like that for?
I didn't make a fool of the fool, you fool. Did you hear what he called me?
Yes, a floweret.
Yes, by the wayside. Ooh. That is a nice thing, isn't it?
Why didn't you just cut him short and refuse him at once?
I couldn't refuse him until he'd proposed. No lady could. Why, I shall find myself in the divorce court before I know where I am.
Jack looks off and sees Pettigrew.
Ah, look out. Here's old Pettigrew.
Oh, I'm off.
He picks up his skirt and runs off quickly. Pettigrew enters.
Ah, Mr. Chesney, have you seen...
He's seen Lord Fancourt.
Aha!
Pettigrew absently pushes Jack and exits hurriedly.
What the deuce did he bolt like that for? Anyhow, they won't wreck my future happiness. I must find Kitty. Why couldn't Charlie's aunt behave like a lady and turn up as you promised instead of giving us all this trouble? I hate the sight of her before I've even seen her.
He exits. After a pause, we hear off stage.
First door to the left. Thank you very much.
Enter Donna Lucia, with an open sunshade framing her head, and Ella Delahaye. Donna Lucia is a well-preserved, beautiful, kindly woman of middle age, with a young face, but gray hair. She has a keen sense of humor and is capable of taking command of any situation. She wears an afternoon summer dress and coat to match, hat and gloves, and carries several visiting cards in her purse bag. Ella Delahaye is a young, pretty, unaffected little girl of 17 or 20. Also has a sense of humor and high spirits. And she wears a summer dress and hat and carries a purse bag and gloves. Donna Lucia looks around and crosses behind the table.
The first door to the left, the man said. Ella?
Ella stands at the door.
Yes, here it is. Mr. John Chesney. Shall I knock?
Yes, do, my dear.
Ella knocks.
Chesney. The name sounds familiar. Why couldn't my nephew remain in his rooms and not compel me to follow him around like this?
You telegraphed to say you couldn't come.
I know, my dear.
And then you changed your mind.
Yes, for the first time in my life.
Why?
Some vague desire to see him without his knowing. Knock again, dear.
Ella knocks again.
The porter said they might all be in the garden. I could roam about these old places all day. Isn't it all beautiful?
Dream away, Ella. I shall wait till someone comes.
She sits at the table.
Oh, to live among these leafy shades, ancient spires and sculpted nooks, like silent music, a scholar's fairyland.
But to one poor sublunary being, not quite so young as she used to be, a little fatiguing.
And how lovely it must be by moonlight, where the shadows have no sudden fears, but are only folds in the mantle of sleep, and all is peace. And the silver bells chimed, the sentinel angel of the night, who smiles in heaven and whispers back, all's well, sweet bells, all's well.
You fanciful little woman. But what has put all this about angels and so forth in your head today?
Oh, I don't know.
I think I can trace back all the little byways and slyways of thought that generally lead to one direction.
Oh no, no, it's all so sweet here.
So it was there, by moonlight. See from the bridge of a certain yacht, the rippling sea, the blue night, and brilliant stars. You see how I remember your words, and a certain someone who told you, and you listened to the chime of the ship's bell, that you looked like the angel of the watch. He was a flattering-tongued person, that someone, wasn't he? What was his name again?
I've told you so often.
Ah, yes, Lord Vancourt Babberley. But I don't want your mind fixed on these things, my dear. Why, I'd almost forgotten to tell you. I've invested your poor father's money for you, and thanks to his forethought for his little girl, he has rendered you independent for life. And what is worse, independent of me.
Independent?
But you won't be, Ella.
No.
For I've grown to love the little orphan I met in such grief in a strange land, so much that I am now independent of her. So let's make a bargain. Put that dreadful evidence of my dependence aside and let it grow. And be my little girl and call me Auntie, will you?
Yes, Auntie. Yes.
How did your poor father come to have such a large sum of money by him like that? I thought he'd lost it all.
Papa wanted at cards.
What it at the cards? When?
During his illness.
From whom?
From Lord Fancourt Babberley.
Is Lord Babberley a gambler too?
No, well, no, not really. But Auntie, should we ever meet, may I give it back?
I don't think he'd take it.
Why not?
It seems to me he took too much trouble to lose it. But I'm not going to speak for him. Besides, I don't want to ever leave me. I don't want you to ever leave me, my dear. You've set me thinking now.
Have I? What about?
Oh, all about someone who...
Oh, Auntie, do tell.
Oh, it was before you went abroad to Brazil. I was young and very shy. He never called me the angel of the watch, but he did get as far as stammering compliment and a blush, and then...
And then?
Then he was ordered off with his regiment.
Without ever?
Yes, without ever.
Oh, Auntie.
Ella sits back on her heels, looking up fondly at Donna Lucia.
It was a dance this evening before he went away.
And you've never loved anyone since?
I was such a sentimental young girl in those days.
What was his name, Auntie?
Frank Chesney.
Sir Francis Chesney enters.
I'm afraid we're intruding.
Not at all.
He raises his hat and approaches her, offering a slight bow.
The college grounds are open to everyone. I am, so to speak, at home here, merely because these are my son's rooms.
Mr.
Chesney.
Astonished, Ella turns and watches the scene.
Really?
Yes, really.
Pardon my asking, are you, or rather, were you Lieutenant Frank Chesney?
I was.
And you don't remember me?
I acknowledge with some regret that I have no recollection whatever.
It must be more than 20 years since.
20 years?
He doesn't remember me.
Donna Lucia takes out several cards from her card case, looks through them.
20 years is a long time, Auntie.
20 years, eh? Now, where was the regiment then, I wonder?
Mrs. Beverly Smythe. Everyone's card but my own, of course. Then you've forgotten the day you first embarked for India.
No.
But have you forgotten the evening before?
Sir Francis
No.
smiles.
Oh.
He finally recognizes her.
Lucy! Good gracious!
He removes his hat and takes Donna Lucia's hand.
And to think that at that very dance, but you never knew that night. By George, I nearly made you an avowal.
An avowal?
20 years, eh?
I'm afraid so.
I remember the dance perfectly. You were in white, tied up with blue.
Yes, tied with blue, like a chocolate box.
You must see my son. He's a splendid fellow. These are his rooms, or rather, he has lent them to a college friend, a young fellow named Wickham.
Ah, yes, Wickham.
Who at this very moment is entertaining some ladies, 2 young ladies, in fact, and his aunt.
His aunt?
A lady from Brazil.
Brazil?
Yes, Donna Lucia Dalvadores. I must introduce you.
He goes.
Auntie, whatever does he mean?
Sir Francis returns.
Wait a minute, my dear. Do I understand you to say that Donna Lucia Dalvadores is here? Actually, here?
In the garden. Oh, she was 5 minutes ago. Do you know her?
I've heard of her. Shall I stay and see this out or return to the town and...
She absently fingers a card.
May I trouble you?
He holds out his hand for the card. Distracted, Donna Lucia gives Sir Francis the wrong card.
Certainly.
Mrs. Beverly Smythe.
Auntie!
Shh.
I'll find Donna Lucia and the boys. Or perhaps you wouldn't mind coming into the garden too then?
Donna Lucia picks up her sunshade and crosses to Ella.
With pleasure. I'm quite curious to see them. My niece, Miss Delahaye.
How do you do?
Colonel?
Sir Francis Chesney.
Come, Ella.
Ella and Donna Lucia exit. Sir Francis eagerly replaces his hat on his head.
Ah, Jack, my boy, if that had been Donna Lucia, things might have been very different.
He quickly exits after them. Lord Fancourt enters riding rapidly across the stage, holding up his skirt in front only so that Spedigue, following, doesn't see his trousers from behind, and then exits. Enters Spedigue, running across stage, out of breath, top hat wobbling perilously. He also exits, pursuing Lord Fancourt. Brassett enters from the house, stops with a tablecloth. He sees Lord Fancourt and Spedigue, comes down, and looks after them.
What's his lordship up to with the old gent now? Looks as if they were having a game of some kind. I think it's very dangerous running around like that. I'm not sure. I didn't catch a sight of his lordship's trousers.
He takes a cigarette box off the center table and puts it on table at back. Jack and Kitty enter from stage right.
And now here we are at last, and I can speak to you alone, Kitty, my dear Kitty.
Brassett appears from behind the table and lays a tablecloth. Kitty sees him, indicates.
But, Jack, look.
Jack turns and sees Brassett, goes to him.
What are you doing, Brassett?
Laying the cloth for tea, sir.
Go away.
But you gave orders, sir.
Put it back for half an hour, quick, man. Can't you see I'm engaged?
Really, sir? Congratulations.
Kitty turns away, hiding her laughter.
No, not like that. Busy. Confound you. Now get out and don't come back.
Jack puts the tea cloth over Brassett's head and pushes him off through the door. Kitty sits at the table.
And now, my dear Kitty.
Yes, Jack, you've said that before.
Now, don't interrupt me. I go straight at most things, and I am not going to hesitate over this.
Is it that you attach so much importance to it, or that you don't care what you do?
It's both. Mixed. So, Kitty, my dear Kitty,
Yes, Jack.
Kitty, do be serious. In a few hours, you'll be hundreds of miles away, and it may be years before we meet again, unless...
Unless what?
will you please listen?
I can't help myself.
Jack sits, very serious.
I've told you how my father intended me for Parliament and all that.
Yes.
Well, he tells me now that for the next few years, I shall have to give up all that and earn my own living.
Well, that'll do you no harm, Jack.
No, it's not how I look at it. I've done well up to here. I've worked hard and worked hotels wherever you are, so I intend to turn to work, and I'm sure it'll come out all right, one way or another.
I'm sure I wish you every success.
Of course, in time, I shall be all right. But the question is, will you wait?
Wait for what?
Oh, no, I beg your pardon. I didn't mean that.
Oh, you didn't mean it?
No, well, what I really mean is that before I say anything further, I should like you to understand what I've been telling you.
And what was that?
Well, to be practical and lay everything out fairly before you, my position in life will be something in
The city?
my home.
Suburban?
Exactly. My personal income,
Small?
my extra income,
Precarious?
but under certain conditions, my fears would be nil and my hopes tremendous. Now, you know all. That's how I stand.
Oh. That's how you stand.
Kitty.
Well, I hope those happy conditions will be realized to your heart's content.
Kitty, my dear Kitty, they will never be realized without you.
Without me?
Now, you're vexed with me. You hate the city. You despise the suburbs.
Why should you say that, Jack? As if I hadn't the heart to do what thousands of better girls have done. As if I couldn't guess all the happy fun that is to be got out of cooking and mending and ministering to the wants and happiness of a man who will work and strive for the woman he loves.
What, you mean...
Try me, Jack. Well, I love you dearly.
He takes both her hands.
You love me?
As much as you love me.
He puts his arms around her.
Oh, my dear Kitty, you're such a brick.
They kiss.
What about my guardian, Mr. Spatague?
I'll see him at once.
No, that won't do.
Won't do? Why ever not?
I must have his consent in writing.
In writing? But why?
So that he can't retract. You don't know him as well as I do, and there's only one person who can get that written consent for us. So be a good boy and send it to me at once.
Who? Amy?
No. Charlie's aunt, Donna Lucia.
Donna Lucia? But Kitty,
Please, don't ask any questions. You must send it to me at once while I find Amy.
Kitty exits.
Dear, oh dear. Where are we now? Well, this can't go on.
Charley rushes on.
I've done it. Jack, I've done it.
I done what?
I've let the cat out of the bag and told her everything.
What? You idiot! What have you told her?
That I love her.
Love her? Love who?
Why, Amy.
Oh, is that all?
Yes, but Jack, she's gone off to find Donna Lucia to get her uncle's consent. We could still be in the dickens of a mess yet.
Well, keep cool, man. Keep cool. We're all right. We're doing all right up till now.
Lord Fancourt runs on without his fan. He dodges between Jack and Charley, then hides. Spedigue enters, humming out of tune.
When and how shall I earliest meet her? What are the words she'll first say to me?
He exits. Jack and Charley escort Lord Fancourt downstage.
You'll drag us into awful disgrace.
A damn good job, too. You've no idea the things he keeps on saying to me.
He? Who?
Old Spetague.
Well, what does he say?
Yes, what does he say?
No, not you. You're too young.
He pushes Charley aside, whispers to Jack. Charley sulks, tries to hear.
What? He didn't.
He did?
Oh, good Lord.
And then he...
No.
Oh, yes, terribly embarrassing, even for a woman of the world. Well, man of the world. And you know how well I get on with the girls.
Yes, confound you, too well.
No, don't I? Do I?
He laughs and kicks a skirt out of the way as he turns, goes up and puts a brooch upstage. Charley approaches Jack.
Jack, I can live this lie no longer.
Now don't you start. Some lies just have to be lived.
What for?
What for? To save confessing them, you duffer.
I wish to goodness you'd bring it all to an end.
And so do I. I need a drink.
Jack turns to Charley.
You see, we'll be all right if that donkey would only be reasonable and behave like a lady.
He can't. He doesn't know how.
The selfish idiot spoiling everything.
Lord Fankert hears this abuse, takes off his fichu, and flings it down.
Oh, I wish we'd asked Freddie Peel.
Yes, Freddie would have stood by us like a man.
Lord Fankert begins to undo his dress.
We were fools to trust him.
Selfish little beast.
Lord Fankert lets his dress slip to the ground and steps over it.
When you think of all the misery he's put us to.
Lord Fankert takes off his petticoat.
I could wring his head right off.
Lord Fankert turns his back to the audience and stands grinning, hands in his trouser pockets. He is now in shirt sleeves, waistcoat, and trousers, but still wearing a wig, bonnet, and mittens. He defiantly faces Jack and Charley.
Look at him now!
Lord Fankert bolts towards the archway upstage, followed by Jack, who picks up his petticoat and fichu. Charley picks up the dress and exits after them. They all re-enter, followed by Spedigue. They all exit and then re-enter, still running in the same order and crossing to downstage. Lord Fankert exits as Spedigue re-enters. Jack and Charley stop, where they quickly hide the dress and the rest behind their backs.
Ah, Mr. Chesney, have you seen Donna Lucia?
Jack and Charley point off stage. Spedigue exits to the garden. Jack and Charley exit, but they quickly return, dragging Lord Fankert. Lord Fankert shakes himself free.
Listen, you chaps, I won't stand this a minute longer. Oh, let Charley have a go.
Charley approaches him with his fichu in his coat pocket and the petticoat ready to put over Lord Fankert's head. Lord Fankert defiantly puts his hands in his pockets. Jack drops the skirt over Lord Fankert's head and tries to fasten it round his waist while standing behind him. Finding it won't meet, he comes forward to see the cause.
Take your hands out of your pockets.
Lord Fankert does so, and the petticoat falls to the ground. Jack pulls it up. Lord Fankert reluctantly fastens it.
Here are your braces.
Jack hands the brace to Lord Fankert, who lets it slip, heading Jack in the eye.
Ow!
Jack gives the brace again. Lord Fankert fastens it, while Jack takes the other brace. Jack turns towards the garden, anxious. The brace springs out of his hand and hits Lord Fankert. He grins, picks up the bottom of the dress, which Charley is holding by the shoulders, with sleeves hanging down. Lord Fankert sees them holding the dress horizontally and dives into it. Jack fastens Lord Fankert's collar.
Just when we want old Spedigue in his best humor, you go and risk everything by this fool of a game.
Oh, what fool of a game. I'm not going to marry old Spedigue. I could never be happy with a man like that.
You know, Babs, if it was your girl, we'd do anything for you.
Oh, where's my anti-mascara?
And you think of this running after our girls. Confound you.
Charley, am I all right behind?
He straightens down his dress, gives his skirt a final flirt out behind with both hands, and does a twirl. They all go as if to exit, then...
Look out, here are the girls.
Enter Kitty and Amy.
Oh, Donna Lucia, we've been looking for you everywhere.
She takes Lord Fancourt's arm and leads him downstage.
Amy and I want so much to speak to you.
Amy takes his other arm.
We're in a difficulty.
A difficulty?
Charley brings a chair and places it behind Lord Fancourt.
And we want you to be an angel. Now, Jack, do go away.
Yes, Charley, you go away too.
Yes, go away. They want me to be an angel.
Jack and Charley go upstage. Kitty and Amy kneel either side of Lord Fancourt.
You know Amy's uncle, Mr. Spettigue, is my guardian, and under my father's will, gets nearly all my money if I marry without his consent.
And you know Jack and Kitty are in love with each other, and Jack's lost all his money or something.
For years and years.
Lord Fancourt looks at each in turn.
Kitty wants you to.
No, wait a minute. Amy, dear.
Yes, wait a moment, Amy, dear.
He places his arm around Amy.
It's her turn now.
Jack restrains Charley from punching Lord Fancourt.
Now it's your turn.
He laces his arm around Kitty. Charley restrains Jack from punching Lord Fancourt.
Amy and Charley are in love with each other too, and you don't object, do you?
No, my dears.
Kitty and Amy rise together, each kiss Lord Fancourt's cheek.
You old dear.
You dear thing.
They go upstage together, whisper and giggle. Charley comes downstage, punches Lord Fancourt. Kitty and Amy return to the right and left of Lord Fancourt.
Now, Jack, do go away.
Yes, go away, Charley.
Yes, you heard. Go away. We 3 girls want to be alone.
Jack and Charley return upstage, and Kitty and Amy kneel beside Lord Fancourt as before.
I must end this. I must do something.
Well, go and look after the tea. Go on.
Exasperated, Charley exits to the rooms.
Yes, I must bring them all together and stop this.
Jack exits.
Now, where were we?
Ah, yes, you're all in love and you all want to get married.
Exactly.
And we want Uncle's consent.
And yours. We want you to be an angel and do it.
Do it? Do what?
Why, get Mr. Spetticue's consent.
For both of us.
For both of you?
Yes. First, you see, you'll give your consent to Charley and Amy. You will, won't you?
Oh, yes. Nothing could be nicer.
You're so kind, but I knew that from the first.
Would you like me to be one of your bridesmaids?
They look away embarrassed and sit back on their heels.
No? Oh, well, some other time.
Yeah. Well, now, we want you to get his consent, but mine, being a legal affair.
Ah, yes, your father's will, you mean?
Yes, his consent must be in writing.
In writing?
And you must get it. You must make him write a letter or something.
Oh, but my dears, I've no influence over him.
Oh, but you're so clever and kind.
And so rich.
Oh, yes, so rich. I remember I gave half a crown away only this morning.
At any rate, you must try.
Dear Donna Lucia, do say you will try.
We're going away, you see.
Oh, my darlings, don't leave me.
He puts both his arms around them.
To Scotland.
Scotland? I know, a beautiful country where the whiskey comes from.
You are our only hope.
Oh, Donna Lucia, have you ever been in love?
Oh, yes, dozens of times.
Dozens?
Dozens?
Once in love, always in love, you know, don't you?
Amy and Kitty rise.
Then you know what it means to us, don't you?
Oh, I should rather think I did.
And you'll get his consent for us.
Well, I'll do my best.
You can't say no now.
No, not now.
Then we'll find Mr. Spettigue and send him to you at once.
Kitty and Amy exit quickly.
Well, here's a deuce of a mess.
Brassett enters. They catch each other's eyes and smile.
Oh, I say, Brassett, can you get me a brandy and soda? Oh, no, forget it. Here's old Spettigue coming.
Brasset crosses above the table, arranges the chairs, and exits to the rooms. Spedigue enters wearing his top hat with tin lining. He places the hat crown down on a chair, then turns to Lord Fancourt.
Ah, there you are, dear Donna Lucia. I've been looking for you all the afternoon.
Donna Lucia enters.
I have so much to say to you.
She approaches Spedigue.
Mr. Spetigue.
He turns.
Will you introduce me to,
How annoying. Why couldn't she have kept away? Oh, certainly. Donna Lucia, Mrs. Buttercup Smith. Donna Lucia de Alvadores.
How do you do?
They shake hands.
I'm Charlie's aunt from Brazil, where the nuts come from.
How do you do? I'm most interested in meeting you.
Really?
Yes, I knew your late husband intimately.
Charley enters, standing in the archway. Spedigue goes. Lord Fancourt turns to fly, but is met by Charley. Donna Lucia crosses, smiling wickedly.
Whatever's the matter, Babs?
She knew my late husband intimately.
Jack dashes across upstage, meets Lord Fancourt.
Well, how are you getting on? Everything all right?
No, she knew my late husband intimately.
The deuce.
Brasset enters from the rooms with some tea, which he puts on the table, then goes upstage. Kitty and Amy enter through the arch and meet Charley.
Ah, look out. Here's tea.
Well, what of it?
Brasset puts a chair behind the table.
You must entertain.
Jack turns Lord Fancourt's arm in his and leads him to the table.
Now, Donna Lucia, will you pour out tea?
Amy joins them, followed by Charley.
Oh, certainly.
Donna Lucia sits.
What a cruel interruption. We were getting on so nicely.
Do we all take tea?
Lord Fancourt neatly pours the tea into the first cup, then another. Amy takes it, gives it to Spedigue. Amy joins Kitty and Charley.
You haven't been in England long, have you?
Change the subject.
Change the subject.
Lord Fancourt carefully and deliberately pours tea into Spedigue's hat, all the time talking over his shoulder to Donna Lucia.
No. Do you take sugar and cream?
No. Do you take sugar and cream?
Ask her if she takes sugar and cream.
Ask her if she takes sugar and cream.
Jack catches sight of the tea in the hat and pulls Lord Fancourt's sleeve. General consternation from all, except Spedigue, who does not see the tea in the hat. Lord Fancourt stops pouring the tea into the hat and places it back on the tray. Spedigue turns, goes to the table, holding the cup directly over his hat.
I think I should like a little sugar and cream, Donna Lucia.
Lord Fancourt pours the cream into the cup, then into the hat. Spedigue suddenly discovers the tea in his hat, puts the cup on the table and picks it up.
My hat! My hat!
Donna Lucia rises. Lord Fancourt puts down the milk jug, looks concerned, and takes the hat.
Oh, I do beg your pardon.
Lord Fancourt makes 3 circular movements with his hat to mix the milk and tea. He then opens the lid of the teapot, pours the tea back into the teapot, and hands the head back to Spedigue. Spedigue takes the hat. Lord Fancourt taps the bottom of it. Brasset takes the hat from Spedigue, who turns away, and Lord Fancourt gaily flips down the lid of the teapot and sits. Brasset exits. Sir Francis enters and joins Donna Lucia.
I must see her alone. I have it. They must come to dinner. After dinner, that's the time for my purpose.
Spedigue makes his announcement.
Pardon me, but I have a little proposition to make.
Here.
Jack pushes him down again.
And I can't take no.
Music starts playing very, very softly, same as before in Act 1. Brasset re-enters.
Mr. Spetigue's carriage?
Brassett exits.
Ah, capital. That's the very thing. Now I want you, all of you, to come and stay and dine at my house.
Oh, yes, Uncle. How nice of you.
That'll be delightful.
Grand idea.
Thanks awfully, sir.
Oh, pardon. Tea. You'll return with me in the carriage now, Donna Lucia?
Oh, I can't. It's impossible.
I will take no denial. I want you, all of you, to come.
Ella enters.
I have my niece with me, Miss Delahaye.
Lord Fancourt rises, scared.
Miss Delahaye?
Bring her, delighted.
Lord Fancourt goes to Spedigue, nervously shaking his skirts.
No, I can't. My things.
My voice. Can it be?
She runs down to stage.
It is. It is.
Lord Fancourt turns to meet her.
Oh no.
As music swells to crescendo, Lord Fancourt throws his skirt over his head and falls back into Spedigue's arms. Spedigue catches him. Jack kneels at Lord Fancourt's feet, holding down his skirt and hiding his feet with the hat. Curtain, end of Act 2. So let's have a 5-minute intermission and we'll be back for the third act.
All right. Hey.
Thank you to those of you who have made some more comments. We've got another guest. So we have a guest for the aunt, for Sir Francis and Lord Fancourt. These are all guesses for who the writer Brandon Thomas played in the original West End production of the show back in the early 20th century. Keep those guesses coming, and still love to know where in the world you are streaming from. We have Roland streaming from the UK. So it must be about 11 p.m. now. We have James and Jacob streaming from the East Coast, and Mandy in the center. Monroe is also in the East Coast. Xavier is in Estonia, so it's about 1 a.m. now. And Daniel probably has an early morning right now, and I'm in Sweden. So we're all around the world, and it's super international, and it's a really exciting time to have a global conversation during this live theater event. I'm just going to check the Facebook comments. If you don't have a YouTube account, you can also talk to us through the Facebook event. So I'm just pulling that up now, but definitely drop in your comments and your questions. We'd love to respond to them during the Q&A. Right. I am looking at the Line Runs Facebook event right now. Let's see who's there. Okay, I'm not seeing comments on the Facebook event right now. So let's stick to reading from the YouTube. And thanks so much for joining us. We're really excited to be moving into the final act.
Sorry, Tola.
And if you're staying in your seats, now is a great time to have a stretch, of course. Move around the shoulders. Fill up your drinks. It's not like we have to sell beverages at the bar. Usually we're in the theater, we have this long 20, 30-minute intermission and there's bartenders eagerly awaiting, but here's your chance to buy, or not to buy, but to have cheap cocktails from the comfort of your own home. And I see some more comments in the YouTube. Do keep them coming. We absolutely love them. We're curious what you're thinking out there. And maybe now's the time to let us know if there's been a highlight in the play for you. Drop that into the comments. Okay, I see. JB, you're mentioning that this is BYOB, and you did. Awesome. I've got a little bit of H2O special up here myself. Oh, we got some snacks on Daniel's corner. Yeah. We've got some tea with Mandy. We have a comment. Nice job picking up the cues. The crisp pacing keeps us from missing the physical comedy that is so much a part of this genre. So true. When it's being staged before, there's a lot of slapstick, and you can hear in the stage directions that there is quite a, like traditionally there is quite a dramatic scenery with a big archway in the back, and there's multiple rooms that you can see on the stage. And that's kind of been honored in a lot of the stage adaptations, is that you see multiple rooms and the garden all in one stage. So this is a chance to use your imagination, of course. And we have someone watching from New Jersey, really enjoying. And I will save your question for the end. And actors, I guess this is like, soon this is going to be your chance to live out your fantasy of being able to have your cell phone on stage. And go that deep set fantasy, and that fantasy of being able to read your lines. Maybe that's just me. Right, so buckle up, we're about to head into the final act, and this is a shorter act. And let's begin. Act 3 starts in Spedigue's house in the drawing room. It's a comfortable room, but as it's owned by a man of 60, the furniture is around 1850, which is about 42 years before this play was written. The lights are half down. Moonlight streams into the room, and Brassett is discovered with taper lighting candles. We hear laughter off stage, and Brassett listens at the door.
There you go. Dinner's pretty well over now, and they'll all be in here pretty soon.
Lights rise as he turns up an oil standard lamp.
Fancy old Spetigue's getting me to come here at night to butler for him.
He turns up the oil lamp.
I suppose he's too mean to have a butler of his own. Well, all I can say is it's simply marvelous the way his lordship's kept it up. He's played the perfect lady, something wonderful.
More loud laughter and talking off stage.
Hello, what's up now?
He listens at the door, as before. The voices suddenly drop.
Anyhow, if the worst comes to worse, I've got his lordship's dress clothes with me.
Lord Fancourt rushes on.
Brassett, get me a fly, quick, I'm going home.
Charley and Jack enter and quickly catch Lord Fancourt, bringing him struggling down center. Brassett exits, closing the doors.
Well, you've been going along all right, and if you'd only paid more attention to old Spettigue, why did you bolt from the dinner table like that?
It's so awfully dangerous and unkind of you, you know.
Instead of behaving in a dignified manner as Charlie's aunt, here you are going on like some disgraceful old.
Oh, go on. Finish it. Don't spare me. Oh, you can't say I'm drunk anyhow. Or if I am, it's for the want of it.
Now look here, Babs. This game won't do.
Think of the girls and the solemn promise you gave to help us.
Yes, but she wasn't here then.
She? Who?
My little girl.
What little girl?
Miss Delahaye.
What? The girl with Mrs. What's her name? Smythe?
Yes, Mrs. Butterscotch Smythe's niece.
Charlie goes to the window.
Well, what of her?
Why, she's the girl I met at Monte Carlo, and this butterscotch woman is the woman who took her away. And I'm off.
He bolts upstage.
Stop him, Charlie, quick.
Charlie stops him, brings him back down, and then goes to the door.
You've got us into this deuce of a mess.
Well, of all the beastly, ungrateful things to say.
What difference can it make to you now?
Why, I want to talk to her.
Talk to her about what?
I want to tell her what you fellows have been telling your girls. I'll hang it, don't you understand? I'm just as much in love as you are.
Jack, they'll hear everything.
Was there ever such an idiot?
No, there never was. Look at me. I'm a disgrace to my sex.
Well, if the worst comes to the worst, we'll take the bull by the horns and be done with him.
You can take the bull by the tail for all I care. And what's more, you can tell those confounded girls of yours to leave off kissing me in front of her. I won't stand it.
Don't shout, you idiot!
Jack turns to Charlie.
We'll make some excuse. Say she's ill. Put him in a fly and we'll be done with him.
Lord Fancourt goes to Charlie venomously.
Oh, and Charlie, you can make some excuse to Miss Verdun for me.
Miss Verdun? What have you got to say to Miss Verdun? Come on, out with it.
Oh, haven't I promised to get old Spettigue's consent in writing? Idiots! You're as helpless as a couple of babies.
We hear voices approaching.
This way, madam.
They're coming.
Jack drags Lord Fancourt back, pushes him onto the ottoman.
Here, sit down, quick.
More voices. Charlie sits right of Lord Fancourt and Jack left of him. Brasset enters, showing in the ladies. Donna Lucia and Ella enter in full evening dresses, carrying long white suede kid gloves. Donna Lucia carries a fan. Ella carries smelling salts. All three men rise. Charlie pushes Lord Fancourt down. Brasset exits.
How is your aunt now, Mr. Wickham? We were afraid she might be ill.
Yes, is there anything the matter?
Auntie's been a little upset by the heat of the dining room, that's all.
The heat? I found it rather cold.
Yes, Charlie means cold. You see, Donna Lucia lived so long in a warm climate.
Donna Lucia turns away to hide her amusement and sits. Ella gives Jack the smelling salts.
Won't you try Auntie's smelling salts? They're very good.
Lord Fancourt stares at Ella, besotted.
Thank you.
Ella crosses to the sofa and sits beside Donna Lucia.
Yes, she's often like this, isn't she, Charlie?
Jack shoves the smelling salt bottle under Lord Fancourt's nose. Lord Fancourt sneezes violently. Amy enters, following Kitty, who shuts the door and joining Amy stage center.
I hope Donna Lucia is all right.
Yes, how is she?
Mr. Chesney says she's fine now.
Well, go and tell Mr. Spettigue he's most anxious.
Kitty takes the smelling salts and goes to the windows, placing the salts on the table, then stands in the moonlight on the terrace.
Yes, we'll look after her now.
Amy joins Kitty on the terrace. Jack and Charlie exit, shaking their fist at Lord Fancourt as they do so.
I say, you fellows, don't leave me like this. Oh, he's a deuce of a physician.
Now alone, he looks towards Kitty and Amy.
Oh, I wonder what they'll talk about. I'll have to be careful.
Brasset enters with coffee, cream, and sugar. Ella turns to Donna Lucia.
I wonder who she really is, Auntie.
Oh, Some old thing they got after receiving my telegram.
Brassett offers the coffee to Donna Lucia, which she accepts. Ella refuses. Brassett then goes to Kitty and Amy, who each take a cup.
Say something to her, Auntie. I like to hear her talk.
I would, my dear, but look at her. If I thought they intended to be like me, I'd never forgive them.
Brassett crosses to Donna Lucia and Ella. Both refuse cream. He then goes to Kitty and Amy. We hear loud laughter off stage.
Hark at the silly fools.
Brassett goes to Lord Fancourt with coffee. They look at each other and smile.
I say, Brassett, what's the story?
This is just what I expected.
That Dom Pedro is very fond of telling.
Oh, I must put a stop to this. Won't one of the young ladies play something, please?
How rude of her to interpret like that.
Oh, she couldn't have heard you, Auntie.
Oh, do tell us, Mrs. Beverly Smythe.
Oh, yes. Anything about Dom Pedro would be so interesting. Do tell.
But perhaps Donna Lucia would prefer to tell Dom Pedro's story herself.
Tom Pedro?
Dom Pedro. Your late husband? You know, Dom Pedro Dalvadores?
Yes, of course I know his name, but I don't remember his stories. I don't hold with such frivolity.
Auntie, don't tease her so. Tell the story yourself.
Well, Dom Pedro, who was the kindest soul in all the world, but will Donna Lucia give permission?
Kitty goes to Lord Fancourt.
Oh, you won't mind Mrs. Beverly Smythe telling the story, will you?
Amy goes to Lord Fancourt.
Surely not.
Well, if I must, I must.
Kitty arranges the cushions for him.
Well, as I said before, Dom Pedro, who was the kindest soul in all the world, once found of his Solomon tipsy, very tipsy.
Oh, tut.
So Dom Pedro, whom the man did not recognize.
Why, was Dom Pedro also tipsy?
No, the man, Donna Lucia.
The man was tipsy.
Dom Pedro was, of course, most abstemious. That is what makes the point of the story.
Oh, does it?
So Dom Pedro said to the man, "What would Dom Pedro say if he saw you like this?"
Tipsy, like this?
Yes.
Oh, what did the man say?
The man said, and that's where it's so funny.
Oh, is this where we laugh?
No.
The man said, "Oh, that's all right. Dom Pedro's often like this."
What? Tipsy?
Yes.
They all laugh, except Lord Fancourt. Amy and Kitty go upstage.
Well, of all the damn silly stories. What was the man's name?
I don't know the man's name.
Oh, that's a pity.
But you must remember the story. It was a favorite of Dom Pedro's.
Oh, perfectly. I shrieked when I first heard it.
Forgetting himself, he pulls up the knees of his trousers through his skirt.
I say, that reminds me of a very funny story.
Kitty and Amy return downstage. They haven't seen the trouser business.
Won't one of you young ladies play something, please?
Oh, I'm so out of practice. Why don't you sing something, Amy?
Oh, I can't. I know nothing new.
Oh, sing that charming little ballad, Ta-la-ra-boo-da-lay, you know.
I'm afraid I can't, Donna Lucia.
Won't you sing something for us, Donna Lucia?
Me?
Yes, one of those charming little Brazilian songs I've heard Dom Pedro was so fond of.
No. I haven't sung since I had the measles.
Kitty turns upstage to hide her laughter. Amy joins her.
What?
Over 40 years ago.
Another libel. 40 years. I was a mere infant.
But I do play a little.
Kitty gets a music stool ready for Lord Fancourt and remains standing by the piano. Amy stands to the right.
That's a good idea. I shan't have to talk and I can drown their conversation.
He goes to the piano.
I hope you've quite recovered from the shock my niece gave you today.
Oh, yes, I was a little upset, wasn't I? I suffer so much from giddiness. Were you ever giddy?
No, never.
Oh, well, I was. What shall I play? A little Beethoven or Bluebells of Scotland?
Lord Fancourt plays a 5-finger exercise.
Do you know that?
He starts to play something softly. After a few bars, we hear Spedigue.
Come along, my dear friends, come along.
Oh, here they are. Now, don't forget the letter.
Oh, I won't forget.
Kitty goes to Amy.
Let's get them all out in the garden and leave her alone with Mr. Spetigue.
Spedigue, Sir Francis, and Charley enter, all in full evening dress, followed by Brassett, also in evening dress. He stands by the door with an empty tray. Spedigue stands as though entranced by the music. Jack stands close to Charley by the ottoman, and Sir Francis joins Kitty and Amy, and Brassett takes 2 empty cups from a small table. During the last few bars of music, Spedigue goes to Lord Fancourt.
Charming, charming.
Lord Fancourt stops playing, twirls around on the stool, and almost overbalances. Spedigue saves him from falling. Then Lord Fancourt sits beside Ella on the sofa, stares at her, besotted.
Bring the cigars, Brassett, unless the ladies object.
Smoking? Oh, no, I quite like it. It kills the insects and things.
Brassett exits.
Look at him, Jack.
What's he doing now?
Staring at her like he did all through dinner.
Oh, damn fool.
Brassett re-enters with cigars, cigar cutters, matches. He places them on the table, then exits.
I must make an opportunity to see her alone. Isn't it a sweet evening? Perhaps some of you may prefer to enjoy a cigar in the garden.
No, thank you, sir.
Yes, such sweet evening.
Spedigue goes and stands behind the piano. Sir Francis stands with his back to the audience, facing Kitty and Amy.
I fancy you've been enjoying yourselves capitally, Miss Verdun. We heard the music.
Yes, Donna Lucia has been playing for us.
How charming of you, Donna Lucia. What should we have done without your dear Aunt Charley?
Yes.
Don't groan like that, you idiot. Are you fond of music, Mr. Spedigue?
Charley joins Amy.
I hope to be.
Lord Fancourt puts his hand on top of the piano. Spedigue covers it with his own. Lord Fancourt withdraws his hand and slaps Spedigue's hand.
Why? Are you intending to take lessons?
Spurned, Spedigue goes behind the settee and talks to Donna Lucia and Ella.
What's he looking at me like that for? Like a boiled owl?
Jack takes Sir Francis's arm and leads him downstage.
Dad, I'm so glad you know about Kitty now. She really is a splendid girl, isn't she?
Kitty crosses to Lord Fancourt.
I like her very much, I must say, Jack.
You've taken a load off my mind, Dad. I thought I was quite without means.
Not altogether, my boy. And you're sure you've thought this matter through?
Night and day, Dad. Ever since I first met her.
It's a serious step, you know, a serious step.
Kitty stands at the piano and whispers to Lord Fancourt.
Now, don't forget, in writing.
She goes to Amy.
Let's get them all out into the garden. You take Charley.
Kitty goes to Jack, and Jack whispers to Charley.
Well, I'm glad I've told the dad now.
Sir Francis joins Amy, and Spedigue rejoins Lord Fancourt by the piano. Kitty sits on the ottoman, and Charley joins Amy. Spedigue, leaning across the piano, whispers to Lord Fancourt.
But why won't you listen to reason?
Of course I'll listen to reason, but where is the letter?
Letter? Ah, yes, I've not written it yet.
Not yet.
Lord Fancourt swings around on a stool, ending with his back to the audience. Sir Francis goes to the window. Look out.
We must find an opportunity to talk it over. Alone.
That will be nice.
He swings back again, ending facing Spedigue. Sir Francis crosses and stands behind the piano.
But Charlie, why are you so miserable? We ought to be very happy today.
Amy, great joys sometimes brings a sort of reaction. I promise I shall be better tomorrow.
Oh, do come into the garden.
Charlie and Amy exit to the garden. Spedigue crosses, and Ella goes behind the piano. Lord Fancourt watches her every move. She turns and smiles at him, then immediately exits. Sir Francis joins Donna Lucia on the sofa, and Jack whispers to Kitty.
Well, I've told the dad and he is delighted. But Kitty, you won't regret it, will you? Turning your back on society and the row and the...
And this stifling hollowness of my own Monday and everybody else's rest of the week, and have something real to think about instead? No, Jack, the vista is too heavenly. Now, do come into the garden.
Jack and Kitty go upstage, where they meet Spedigue.
It's such a sweet evening. Perhaps you'd like a cigar, Jack.
No, thank you, sir.
Yes, such a sweet evening.
Jack and Kitty exit to the garden, and Spedigue goes downstage to Lord Fancourt, who starts to play again, softly. Sir Francis turns to Donna Lucia.
Shall we join them?
Yes, it's a charity to leave those two people alone.
She's indicating to Lord Fancourt and Spedigue.
Indeed. Why?
Only a little matchmaking mischief, that's all.
On Spedigue's account.
No, on Donna Lucia's.
Donna Lucia and Sir Francis exit to the garden, and Spedigue goes to the windows, watches them off. Lord Fancourt hides behind the piano.
They've gone.
He turns and finds Lord Fancourt gone.
Lucia, they've gone.
Puzzled, Spedigue looks around, goes towards the door. Lord Fancourt accidentally strikes a top note sharply on the piano and quickly retreats. Spedigue turns. Lord Fancourt bobs up from behind the piano and points playfully at Spedigue.
Aha, there you are. Oh, Lucia, how I have longed for this moment.
Oh no, he's at it again.
Lucia, I must speak to you.
No, you mustn't. I'm very angry with you.
He puts his hand on top of the piano.
Lucia, don't say that. You wound me.
Lord Fancourt moves the hand to the bass keys. Spedigue pats Lord Fancourt's hand, who snatches it away, and he dodges to the treble keys.
But I do say that after the promise you made me to treat me like this.
Lord Fancourt absolutely places his hand on the piano again.
Promise?
Yes. The consent you promised in writing.
Oh, that. Lucia, how can you when we have so much to say that more concerns ourselves?
He pats Lord Fancourt's hand lying on the piano, and he pulls it away and smacks Spedigue's hand. Spedigue retreats, rubbing his hand.
No, we have not. You don't know me. I am no ordinary woman.
Lucia, I beg of you to listen to me.
I'll listen to you with pleasure, but where is the letter you promised me?
Will you not hear me, Lucia?
I'll heal you, but why won't you give me the letter?
Spedigue pursues.
Lucia, do I deserve this?
He deserves 6 months, the old idiot.
Lucia, you are a puzzle, an enigma.
Lord Fancourt confronts Spedigue.
How dare you? Until you give me the letter, all is over between us.
Lucia, that decides me. I shall go to my room this very minute and pen a brief note.
With full consent. And signed, don't forget.
Then say you'll be mine?
Oh, I'll say anything you like. Only don't be too long.
Spedigue kisses Lord Fancourt's hand.
Darling.
He exits.
Well, that's all right. I say, what devils we women are.
He goes to the windows.
It's too bad for those fellows.
He goes to the piano, turns.
Why, I shall be an old woman for the rest of my life. I haven't had a drink or a smoke all day.
Catching sight of the cigar box sitting on the table, he crosses.
George, here's a find.
He glances at the door.
I wonder how long he'll be. I'll be hanged if I don't chance it.
He lights a cigar with a match, but she sparks on his boot. Puffs vigorously.
Beautiful. Oh, beautiful.
Donna Lucia and Ella enter from the garden.
Oh, she's smoking.
They go to Lord Fancourt, stand either side of him. Lord Fancourt is startled, draws in a large mouthful of smoke, then hides a cigar, holding it lighted and reversed in palm of his right hand. His mouth is puffed full of smoke. He looks from Donna Lucia to Ella, and then straight ahead, in agony, holding the smoke first in opposite cheek to each one as he looks at it, and then in both cheeks, screwing up his eyes, almost bursting.
Auntie, did you find a chili?
Yes, my dear. I thought I'd get a wrap of some kind.
I'll go upstairs and get you something. I know where your things are.
She goes to the door, turns, looks at Lord Fancourt, and exits. Lord Fancourt looks after her, then blows out smoke and tries to wave it away.
Are you alone?
Yes, all alone and so sad.
Dear me, what a dreadful smell of smoke.
Oh, yes, I noticed it myself.
He goes quickly upstage, takes a cigar out of the packet hole, slit in his dress, and swaps the cigar into his left hand.
I'll go find out who it is.
No, don't go.
Lord Fancourt turns, holding the cigar behind his back.
I wanted to talk to you.
Oh, yes?
Yes, about your late husband, Don Pedro.
That will be nice.
Do you know, when I met Don Pedro, he told me he had no wife.
Really? Oh, the wicked storyteller. But he was a cruel husband.
The Don Pedro I knew was noble, kind and gentle.
Oh, that was his father, the old gentleman with the white moustache.
I never knew such effrontery. Do you know, Donna Lucia, I'm surprised you don't indulge in the habit of smoking. So many Brazilian ladies do, you know.
Oh, well, to tell you the truth, that's just what I was doing when you came in.
Lord Fancourt reveals a cigar in his hand.
Then, pray don't let me interrupt you.
Lord Fancourt smokes.
Can I offer you one?
No, thank you.
They both turn upstage, Lord Fancourt kicking his skirt out of the way, and Donna Lucia fans herself. Lord Fancourt fans himself also. Donna Lucia takes his arm, and they both stop fanning as they return downstage.
You see, not being a Brazilian lady, it might be thought strange.
She lets go of his arm.
Will you have a drink of some kind?
No, thank you. Pardon my curiosity, but have you any children?
Only a few. None to speak of.
Ella returns with a wrap.
Here's your wrap, Auntie.
She covers Donna Lucia's shoulders, and Lord Fancourt puts a cigar and a coffee cup on the piano.
Thank you, dear. I'm going into the garden. I fancy Sir Francis has something to say to me. And as it's rather chilly, perhaps you'd better stay in.
She exits to the garden. Lord Fancourt's about to exit, but first steals a look at Ella.
Oh, don't go. Please.
I was going into the garden.
It has turned quite chilly. Auntie sent me in from the garden because of that.
Can I get you a wrap of any kind?
Oh, no, thank you. Auntie thinks I'm better here. I've been ill, you know.
Oh, but I didn't know.
Oh, I'm all right now, of course, if I take care.
Yes, you must take great care.
Ella takes Lord Fancourt's arm and slowly leads them down to the ottoman.
Auntie, I fancy is more particular than usual this evening.
She helps Lord Fancourt settle, puts a cushion behind his back.
For you know, years ago, she and Sir Francis were sweethearts.
Were they?
Yes. But he went away without telling her he was ever, ever so fond of her. Auntie says he was shy, and he went away without knowing that she was ever, ever so fond of him. But the noblest man I ever knew was also so shy, and oh, so kind. He got to know how Papa had become so ill and so poor, and lost a large sum of money to him at cards. Auntie thinks on purpose. I often wonder why they played cards with Papa being so ill, but when I asked the doctor if it wasn't doing harm, he said, no, not the game that was being played. So now I've got all the money. If ever we meet, I mean to give it back.
Oh, no, you must never think of doing that. It would be like accusing him of a sort of cheating, you know?
But it was ever such a lot. And Auntie says to make me independent for life.
And do you think he'd take it back if he knew that?
Oh, but I should feel it my duty.
Well, it's too late now.
But he went away before I had time to tell him how much I loved him for his kindness to my poor father.
She stands and moves upstage. Lord Fancourt rises, follows.
Well, you don't mind my telling you all of this, do you? I don't know why, but I like to talk to you. I do like you, and I do so long to see him again.
She exits. Lord Fancourt watches her leave, then goes to the ottoman, where he punches the cushion vigorously. Spedigue returns with the letter.
Lucia?
Have you got the letter?
Spedigue shows the letter and Lord Fancourt tries to snatch it. Spedigue holds it out of his reach.
Yes, here is the letter. But first, to make my happiness complete, say that from this blissful moment we are engaged.
We are engaged.
Lord Fancourt snatches the letter.
Got it. We are engaged.
Lord Fancourt makes for the door.
Darling!
Mr. Spedigue?
Call me Stephen.
Is it the letter, Stephen?
Yes, that is the letter. And are we betrothed?
Yes, we are betrothed, darling.
Lord Fancourt quickly exits, but Sir Francis enters from the garden with Donna Lucia. Spedigue goes to them, shaking Sir Francis by both hands.
Ah, Mrs. Beverly Smythe, Sir Francis, congratulate me, congratulate me. I'm the happiest man in the world. But where are the dear children? This must be a day of happiness and rejoicing for us all, for us all.
He exits. Sir Francis takes Donna Lucia's wrap off and places it on the back of the ottoman.
What on earth does he mean? What's all this excitement about?
Can't you guess?
No.
Didn't I tell you what would happen if we left them alone? Don't you understand? She's accepted him.
Accepted him?
Yes, Donna Lucia Dalvadores.
He joins her on the ottoman.
You don't mean that.
I fancy I'll find out his mistake before long.
By George, what a fool I've been.
Why, are you sorry?
No, but that rascal of a boy of mine made some sort of a stupid suggestion that I should...
What? That you should offer your hand and heart to Donna Lucia Dalvadores from Brazil, where the nuts come from?
When I think of what a fool I was, might have been, should have been...
Then you don't envy him?
Envy him?
But think of her millions.
Ah, Lucy, when I saw your face,
You didn't recognize it.
well, no, but when I did, but I told you all that in the garden, and you're still sure you'll be content with a simple cottage and your old sweetheart?
And you? You would take me, a penniless widow?
Nothing could make me happier.
Frank.
Lucy.
A little pause. Donna Lucia smiles.
Why? What are you smiling at?
I was only thinking
Of what?
of Donna Lucia Dalvadoris.
Ella enters.
Well, she's certainly a quaint little figure.
Auntie, didn't you find the air chilly?
I didn't notice, my love.
How pretty you look tonight. Has Sir Francis...
Shh.
Ella kisses Donna Lucia and sits on the ottoman. We hear Spedigue off stage.
Come along, my dear children, come along.
Spedigue enters, followed by Kitty and Amy, Jack and Charlie. Brassett also enters, carrying a salver, goes upstage besides Charlie. Spedigue goes to the sofa and indicates the piano stool.
Kitty, you sit there. Amy, there. Now I have something to tell you, something I'm sure you will all be very pleased to hear. But where is Donna Lucia?
No one answers. Brassett steps forward.
Donna Lucia's gone to her room, I fancy.
He steps back again.
Perhaps it's just as well. So before she returns, I have a little secret to tell you.
All exchange glances.
A
Whoa.
secret?
Oh.
Really? Oh, do tell.
I am sure you will pardon me if I ask your attention for a few moments.
Good gracious, Jack, what's he going to say?
How do I know until he said it?
Situated as I am, a lonely widower, a mateless uncle surrounded with grave responsibilities, my ward, my niece, I'm delighted to say a good fairy has tripped in among us, bringing with her unexpected light and joy.
Whatever does he mean?
Oh, shut up.
Under her influence, I have consented to the engagement of my niece Amy to a gentleman whose honor and probity I have the fullest confidence, Mr. Charles Wickham.
Charlie goes to Amy, takes her hand.
Charlie, how sweet of your dear aunt.
Furthermore, charmed by irresistible spells, I have consented to the union of my ward, Kitty, with John, only son of my dear friend, Sir Francis Chesney.
Jack goes to Kitty. Spedigue points to the carnation in his coat. Sir Francis laughs.
Ah, Sir Francis! But what will you say to a third engagement?
As everyone echoes a third,
There.
Third?
Charlie returns to Jack.
Our good fairy, nay, let me add without further metaphor, one whose name is as honored in the southwestern hemisphere as that of Rothschild is in Europe, that one has consented to become Mrs. Stevens Spedigue.
Astonished, Kitty rises.
I, of course, allude to our dear friend, Donna Lucia de Alvadores.
Brassett drops the empty tray behind his back.
What was that?
I beg your pardon, sir, the tray, sir.
Kitty pushes the music stool under the piano and goes to the back of the sofa.
Be more careful, Brassett.
Brassett picks up the tray.
Uncle.
Be more careful, Brassett. Nothing could please me more than...
Mortified, Charlie steps forward.
Mr. Spedigue, I can listen to this ghastly farrago no longer.
Mr. Wickham, sir, whatever do you mean?
Sir, I don't care what the result may be. I can't listen to this ghastly...
I presume, sir, in espousing my niece.
No, I can't. I won't espouse her and under these false and lying pretenses. That woman...
You allude in such a manner to...
I say that woman...
I must beg of you to speak with more respect of your aunt.
She is not my aunt.
Donna Lucia rises and goes upstage, followed by Ella. Sir Francis goes round back to the ottoman to top end of the piano, and Brassett retreats to the door.
Not your aunt? Whatever you do mean.
I love Amy far too sincerely to...
Never mind that. Explain yourself, sir.
Jack steps forward.
Mrs. Pettigrew, will you allow me to explain that the blame is entirely mine?
I will not, sir. I am addressing this person. Answer me, sir. Explain yourself.
I must tell his lordship of this.
He quickly exits.
At the last moment this morning, my aunt, on whose account we had invited Miss Verdun and Miss Pettigrew, she telegraphed to say that she couldn't come. The ladies arrived and we...
And I, sir, prevailed upon another person to, well...
Well, what?
To impersonate her.
Impersonator? Am I to understand I've been treacherously, infamously deceived?
That was not our intention, sir.
Don't lie to me, sir.
Charlie goes to Amy, who turns away from him.
I beg your pardon, sir. You forget you were not expected.
A frump like that with a wig?
Well, you can't blame her for that.
Jack joins Kitty behind the sofa. We hear Lord Fancourt off stage.
May I come in?
Turn that woman out of my house!
Lord Fancourt enters in an evening dress. General surprise and astonishment. Kitty goes to the end of the sofa.
I say, may I come in?
I said, turn that woman out of... And who
He
are
turns.
you?
Lord
I'm
Fancourt holds his
Charlie's aunt.
hands in front of him like an old lady.
I'm Charlie's aunt from Brazil, where the nuts come from.
Kitty goes to the front of the sofa, and Jack whispers to Lord Fancourt.
Fancourt Babley, you duffer.
Jack goes and joins Kitty.
Fancourt Babley, I beg your pardon.
Auntie, and I told him everything.
What does this mean, sir?
It means, sir, that we've all done very wrong, and we're all extremely sorry, and tender you our humblest apologies, my apologies, I should say, for if I hadn't offered the temptation, the whole thing would have never occurred.
And if Mr. Pettigrew will allow us to add our apologies...
And say we have no words to express our contrition.
It's infamous, infamous! But where is the document obtained for me under these fraudulent pretenses?
Oh, the letter. I have the letter.
He produces it from inside his breast pocket of his dress coat.
Give it to me.
It's mine. It's mine.
Miss Verdun, sir, I demand it.
Lord Fancourt holds up the letter. Donna Lucia comes down stage and takes the letter.
Allow me.
I shall dispute it. Under her father's will, I shall dispute it.
This letter is addressed and has been delivered to Donna Lucia d'Alvadoris.
But he is not Donna Lucia d'Alvadoris.
No, but I am.
You?
Lucy.
Kitty sits on the sofa. Donna Lucia joins Sir Francis by the piano.
My aunt!
You will pardon me if I retire. As for you, sir, I shall inquire of the authorities at your college first thing in the morning.
Brassett opens the door for Pettigrew. Pettigrew stops, takes out a buttonhole and throws it into the room, then exits. Lord Fancourt catches the carnation, goes to the door, turns, and grabs Charlie's arm.
I say, Charlie, can he have me up for breach of promise?
Amy comes forward, confronts Charlie.
Mr. Wickham, how dare you? I'll never forgive you. I'll never forgive any of you for treating Uncle Stephen like that.
She goes to leave through the windows, stopped by Donna Lucia.
Be patient, my dear. Your uncle shall have the most profound reparation my influence can make. But for my part, I only shared in the deception when I found another lady established in my place.
Oh, no wonder she knew all about my late husband.
Donna Lucia nudges Amy over to Charlie.
Well, I'm as sorry as anyone, but I'd trust Jack with my life.
Indeed? Well, he must wait till I'm his mother.
Charley and Amy go downstage. Amy sits on the ottoman. Charley stands beside her.
My mother?
Sir Francis joins them.
Yes, Donna Lucia, in deceiving me as much as anybody, has, however, done me the honor to recollect an old affection and has promised to assume that authority. We are to be married, so look out, Jack.
Sir Francis retires by the piano. Jack sits on the sofa beside Kitty. Ella moves to the top end of the piano. Donna Lucia approaches Lord Fancourt.
Lord Fancourt Babberley, I fear you have gained one confidence that nothing could excuse.
I know, and I reproach myself beyond expression. But I wouldn't part with the memory of that confidence to save my life. And if Miss Delahaye will allow me to say so, I am willing to atone for it with a lifelong devotion.
Donna Lucia looks at Ella, then holds out her hand to her. Smiling, Ella puts hers in Donna Lucia's.
Auntie.
Donna Lucia hands her across to Lord Fancourt. Lord Fancourt takes Ella's hand and tucks it into his arm. As they turn to go upstage, Lord Fancourt kicks the front of Charley's leg with his instep as he passes. Charley limps around behind the ottoman besides Amy. Donna Lucia turns to Jack.
Now, where's my son?
Jack stands.
Here, Mama.
I shall have to talk to you very seriously before I give you this.
She shows the letter, sits again, turns to Charley.
Charley, I'll never forgive you if you ever deceive me, deceive that sweet girl again. And as for you, sir...
Music starts to play, very softly, as in Acts 1 and 2. Lord Fancourt comes downstage with Ella on his arm.
Oh, no, never again. I give you my word. I'll even give you the clothes if you like. I'm done with them. Miss Delahaye has consented to think me over as a husband, and in future I resign to Sir Francis Chesney all claims to Charley's aunt.
Music swirls. Curtain. End of play. Bravo! Round of applause, everyone. And audience, feel free to give a virtual applause, whatever over you like. Wow, what a marathon. That was a 3-act play online, which is like ridiculous as a premise. And yeah, we pulled it off. It was so much fun. Thank you all for watching. How are you feeling?
Pretty zonked.
Wine,
It was
anyone?
great though. It was really fun.
Yeah. Oh, who's the pooch?
That's my puppy.
Oh, it's so cute. What's their name?
His name is Ragnar.
Oh, that's a great
That's a good name.
Sounds like a Thor villain.
He is. It's a Viking name.
Nice. We have some questions from the audience.
Oh, cool.
And some claps and some bravos. Thank you. Well, a question from... I'll try to start at the top. Okay, first question was from Antoine. How did we all come together for this performance? You can all speak for yourself.
Hi, Antoine. That's my brother.
Well, I knew a few of you, right? Like, you speak for yourselves. How did we all come together?
I saw it on the Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I threw you an email, and then, things happened.
Yeah, exactly. That was like a Facebook group for actors.
Yeah, I replied to your Facebook post.
Yeah, exactly. We Genevieve and I knew each other from like, oh my gosh, it's been so long since we met. It was
From New York. We were both in
Yeah, exactly. And you're in LA now, and right now,
the Inspired Word Show.
And the which one? Inspired.
inspired words.
wow. Okay, right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, wow. Oh, that's a lifetime ago. Yeah, so that was like a private Facebook correspondence. Who?
I knew Lee from New Zealand. I think we met about
Yeah.
a decade ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, saw the thing on Facebook, and I enjoy reading plays with people from all over the world. So yeah, why not give it a go?
Yeah, exactly. And then how I like everyone's different. Some of you reached out to privately, and then some of you auditioned, like you submitted for a casting online. So yeah, that's how that's how that happened.
I know, was it like in a singing class? Like, well, it was in New York, obviously. And
Yeah.
we both had the same acting teacher at one point, Ron Stetson, right? Was it Ron?
Yes, at the neighborhood playhouse. Yeah.
the neighborhood
Oh
playhouse.
yeah. I know
And then,
too.
yeah, but we just like met briefly, like in New York. It was like a long time ago. It was like
Yeah.
at least maybe even a decade ago, right? And then I saw your post on Facebook. Maybe it was a decade ago. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm feeling like really old with all these comments about decades and all that.
know.
Like, can we just go with 10 years? It sounds younger. Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So yeah, I think that's when it was, right? Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. But I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Similar story for me, actually. Like Mandy and Genevieve, I would have met Lee in New York at the Playhouse as well during an intensive. Yeah, I'm not quite sure why Lee reached out to me, because I haven't spoken to her in 8 years. So maybe you can enlighten us on how you thought of all of us, Lee.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, I need someone who can cross-dress and put on who's manipulative and who would pull a stunt like this. And I thought of you.
So cool. For me,
yeah.
like I submitted to the casting and I had no clue what it was. And like I told you before, I was out of the acting scene for a really long time. And right before quarantine, I got all my stuff to go and I was taking classes. And then we hit this lockdown. So I was just like, yeah, let me submit to this project. This looks fun. And to be part of it and not even have knowing that everyone was going to be around the world, and just to even have chemistry through this platform is pretty awesome. So it would be fantastic if we could one day do it all together.
Yeah, but where?
Yeah. Yeah, true. A tour. We'd tour. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like tri-continental tour. Yeah. 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 So that's how this I mean, that's what's happening right now, is we can all meet each other. And the reason I am reaching out to you after so long is because I can, like, I wanted to, I wanted to work with you. So it's just as simple as that. And when we can go online, anything's possible, and I could pull together the dream squad, basically. That's what this is just a dream squad. Yeah. Otherwise I would have if we were doing this in person, I would have put up some casting notices online, maybe talk to a couple of my casting director contacts, and there'd be an in-person casting. I always have in-person castings. Oh, and some of those castings, by the way, would have taken place in some of the studios which closed down this week.
Oh yeah. That was it. Shetler Studios closed. I saw that.
No way.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a New York institution. But yeah, I would have otherwise run the auditions in person, and there would have been some sides, and it would have taken, it would have been a totally different process. So this is pretty extraordinary. I'm just reading questions. Was this a controversial play at the time of release? Traditionally, there has always been cross-dressing and role play in English theater. However, this is an integral part of the plot. Quick answer, no. There was, especially because the cross-dressing was played by a man. If it went the other way, then yes. but there were already, I mean, traditionally, if you just go back to Elizabethan theater, there were men playing women's roles anyway. And this was taking place prior to, revolution of equality on stage. So there was no controversy really. The controversy did lie maybe in the financial affairs, where there was some talk about, I think there was some talk about how inheritance funds were working around this team and family heirlooms, that sort of thing. But the cross-dressing part, not so much. And there were some nice comments here. We could not have found a better cast. And absolutely wonderful work. Yorkson enjoyed watching this from New Zealand. Hope to see more productions. Thank you. And there was a question that I skipped over. What are all the actors up to during this time? Maybe just one by one. What else are you doing?
Silence.
Yeah.
The silence should be deafening.
I know for me, I'm doing like cooking, a lot of cooking, a lot of DIY videos. I started posting on Instagram.
What's your Instagram handle? Is it public?
Oh yeah, it's Monroe, MONROE 36.
Hold on, MONROE 36.
Yep.
Okay, I'm just writing that in the comments so you can get some follows.
Who said they were writing?
I've been writing. I wrote a feature a couple of years ago, and I've sort of and then it's hard to keep it up sometimes with all regular stresses. So I got the chance to go back to write again, which has been really fun. So yeah, back to some creative stuff and trying to use the time as best as possible to go and put some words on the page.
Fantastic. Do we get a log line or anything?
I was this project. I hate doing log lines because I've got friends. My friend wrote me log line, but it's about the guy, his music career destroyed and his bar on the verge of collapse. And with the help of a couple of good friends and a mysterious girl, he's going to try to see if everything can change. Basically, it's a pilot, so we'll see how it goes. Threw it in a couple of competitions and see where we're at.
Nice. What's the working title?
Working title is Minor Tonic.
One more time, sorry. Minor
Tonic.
Tonic.
So it's the idea of like tonic as a drink and also as a music scale.
Nice.
Oh.
Cool.
So,
nice. Yeah, that's good. That's good. It's wonderfully depressing too, if it's in a minor key.
Yeah. Right. Yes.
Yeah. Who else? What are you all doing?
Well, I normally do comedy, but that's, all the clubs are closed. So it's kind of been an opportunity. I have a comedy podcast, so I've been doing a lot of recording.
Yeah, right.
And it's nice to have that much time, like uninterrupted time to work on that. And writing as well. And making weird videos of myself doing yoga with the cat and posting them on
amazing. Where can we, what's the name of the podcast again?
The podcast is called Just Genevieve.
Just Genevieve. And is that like an iTunes type?
It's on iTunes and Spotify and stuff. And then there's a second podcast on Patreon, which is called More Than Just Genevieve. And that one has guests. So like just me is free, but if you want more, then that costs extra.
Okay. Ooh, nice marketing, Genevieve.
Right?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I like it. Mm-hmm. Nice. I'm writing all these down in the comments, by the way, if you want to find us.
Oh, awesome.
Come on, spill it. Make up something.
It's crazy, isn't it? Because it feels like with all the time in the world, you should be filling absolutely every hour of the day with something. And yeah, I still consider it an achievement if I manage to put my trousers on at some point.
Correction. I maybe have been watching your daily monologues.
Oh,
Don't you pull that lazy card out. No, this guy's been uploading a monologue every day.
I didn't realize I'd posted.
Wow.
Yeah, no, that's true. That was fun. It was. I think there are a lot of things out there for actors to sort of practice their craft at. So I, like Leigh was just saying, I sort of did a 21-day self-tape challenge. And self-tapes are a thing I've always struggled with. You have to have just a camera in front of you, and you have to do everything yourself to like a blank wall. And so it was quite good to practice that for a bit. It became a bit grueling towards the end. On day 21, it's like, thank Christ that's over. And then I'm sort of devising a show over Zoom with some friends for kids. The idea being that we might be able to sort of sell it to schools / parents who want to give their children something to watch.
Cool. So important. Yeah.
And that's fun. It's about a psychotic aeronaut called Captain Calamity who goes on an adventure with his wayward apprentice. I mean, you're all welcome to watch, although I think the age range is meant to be sort of 5 and above.
I'm above 5. I qualify. How do we find it? Just after my decades worth of experience. How do we find it? I'm typing as you speak.
I don't really know how you find it yet, to be honest.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Okay.
exist yet.
Maybe
the title is Up, Up, Up and Away.
For up and away. Well, you will have it online, obviously. So on a Zoom stream near you. Okay, who's next?
I've been working on I had a dance residency with a modern company here in town, Mom Left, which I was really excited to start, but then of course the quarantine happened. We were supposed to be, as part of it, we were going to go into schools and try to help improve math and reading test scores through dance. So we were developing a curriculum. It was kind of challenging. It's kind of like more challenging than I thought it was going to be. But then we moved online. So now we're developing a website. We're developing different lessons that the kids can log into. But it's been interesting and quite time consuming to do it with just what we have. You know, I just have my phone to record on. And I go out to different like various locations in the woods and like hiking locations and record. And then so it's slow going, but it's also very cool. Like our website is up now, and like the first math lesson is on there. And so yeah, so kind of like what, you know, Rollin is trying to develop something along lines that kids have access to now. So yeah, it's an interesting shift.
What's the website?
That's a good question. I mean, I just looked at it yesterday because it just went up like yesterday. I'd have to send you the link later because I don't have it off my head.
Maybe we can.
But it should be accessible to all children everywhere.
Okay. So cool. Who's next?
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Genevieve, what's your cat's name?
Booster.
They stole the show a little bit.
I know.
There was one scene, he was right behind your shoulder, and it was perfect.
Yeah, it was really good timing, actually.
Yeah. He's
Daniel.
very noisy today. He just
getting into the groove.
Yeah.
Come on, a bit more self-promo. We all want more of you, you see. So you have to deliver, please.
What about you, Leigh? What have you been up to? How did you decide to do all this?
How did I decide? I don't actually know what the decision-making process was. I always I don't know, I've got so many things You know, I'm in Sweden right now. It was meant to be in New York, but I don't have a green card. I have an O1 visa, and they wouldn't let me cross the border. But the amazing thing about being in Sweden is that we're not really on lockdown, and I'm still getting booked for jobs. Like, I'm meant to be shooting something next week, and I had a shoot today, which I actually turned down because of this. But yeah, I mean, like, I'm still working, actually. And otherwise, yeah, it's crazy. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm like, I don't want to, like, it doesn't feel right, but like, life is very much just going here, and it's up to me to actually say no to work, basically. I have more play readings coming up just like this. Next week, in fact, next Sunday, Aiding the Enemy. It's a 14-pager. 5 actors, so we'll be doing it just like this, and again with an international cast based in Stockholm, Sweden, Germany, New Zealand, and the US. So that's next, and soon it will be a Pretty Woman, but not the. It was like a working. We're using a working draft of the script when it was called 3000. So this is like the script and development. Yeah, so we're going to be doing just scenes from there, not the full text. Yeah, just pulling from that.
Did you see the musical?
No.
I haven't either.
Okay, I was like, oh no.
No, I haven't either.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's happening, and I'm also working on some music and auditions and things like that. Yeah. Keeping busy. Great. All right, the rest of you, come on.
All right, I'll go next.
No, yes.
Yeah, I guess as an actor, I've been working on a play actually with my brother, Liam O'Kane. He's also an actor.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we've been working with a playwright from the UK who she's based in Melbourne. Her name's Kerry Drum. So you can follow her on Instagram because she does all the posts about the play, and she's currently writing it, and we're helping workshop it with her. And the idea is, we'll be taking it to Edinburgh next year, the Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
Yay!
Awesome.
Have you done Edinburgh yet?
I haven't, but my brother has. He's done it several times. Yeah. So it'll be my first time.
I went 2 years ago.
Yeah, I went in 2018 actually as well. Was it 2018?
Oh, I was in 2017.
Okay, yeah, I was there 2018. Yeah, my brother was in the show and I was traveling around Europe. So yeah, cool. It was amazing. But yeah, it'll be my first time in the Fringe. So
nice. What's the play called?
Hopefully it all comes together.
No. What's the play called?
The playwright. Sorry, Leah.
Or either. Go ahead.
I'll go. The playwright, her name's Kerry Drum. So her Instagram handle is Kezad, Kezzad. And yeah, she does updates on Brothers from time to time. So
awesome.
Yeah, other than that, not much else. A casting director workshop online from time to time, and otherwise just watch lots of TV at home.
Nice. All right, we're running out of people. Come on. You can even just promote your Instagram if you want. I think people just want to be able to follow you.
Yeah, in that case,
somehow.
It's just James Lawrence HQ on the Instagram.
Nice.
That has a link to my YouTube channel too, so I'm just posting videos. I'm fairly back in it and new to the acting game myself, just like Monroe. So work in progress. So this was a very, very fun, and I'm very thankful to be a part of it.
Nice. Thank you. And
people can definitely follow me as well, by the way. It's just /Sterling.
Okay.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Shameless plugging.
Oh yeah, everyone watching, please subscribe to Line Runs
That too, yeah.
And you'll get more info about other play readings and casting notices and workshops and things like that, all happening online.
Mine is Catfight Joy.
Excellent.
Cat Fight Joy. Okay. Anyone else?
That's my Instagram. That's all.
Yeah.
I love how shameless this all is. This is great.
Yeah, sure. I'll give mine. Mine's
Yes?
Xav Ralph. So XAV Ralph, like Ralph Lauren.
Nice. I wish
Named
I could be like
after-
that, like the designer.
No, it's named
Um,
after my rabbit.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
some people are like, "Who's Ralph? Is that your lover?" No, it's my dead rabbit.
Aw. Wow.
What's your story, Xavier? How did you get involved?
Oh, I'm the black sheep. Like Roland, I met Lee 10 years ago. It's surprising. We were in New Zealand at the same time.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Ah, funny.
yeah. Apparently, I guess so.
Yeah, that makes
But
sense.
apparently, you were everywhere at the same time. So maybe you have like a sibling, a twin, an identical twin. Yeah.
That sounds for a play.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anyway, I do film sales. So I work with producers, directors to finance and release movies.
Really beautiful
Yeah.
movies.
And now business is dead, so we're slowly working on producing podcasts.
Mm.
Cool. Smart.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so we should look up Film Republic's podcast or
Oh no, it'll be a different
Or-
name. It's not launched yet,
okay.
but you can follow the company account, Film Republic,
Mm.
on Instagram.
Mm. Nice. Come on, Jacob. Spell.
Sorry, I'm still fuzzy on how to. I suck with tech generally, so humans in it that I interact with is a whole. It's like
But you
Star Wars.
look so professional in your booth. You're in a vocal booth, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
do some voiceover.
Like,
Oh.
yeah. You look more pro than all of us in your booth. right
Yeah.
now. Like,
Not more pro than me. Sorry. With the
Yeah.
cat.
I would agree.
sorry.
Yeah, not more for me.
I just started bringing energy and shit like that. So, Jay Lineberry, Jacob's on the SAG card, but Jay is, you guys can call me Jay. So Jay_Lineberry on Instagram. And
Where are you geographically?
Astoria,
Oh, cool.
Queens. Yeah.
Heard
Which
of
is
it?
in New York. Which is in New
Yeah.
York.
Yeah.
By way of Virginia originally. So,
Nice.
but anyway, yeah. I don't know, man. It sucks because like everything was clicking right along, and
Yeah.
you know, now you gotta make a big adjustment on the fly and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
which you know kind of led me to you because I have not gone back 10 years with you. I don't know you, so.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
Look
it was
forward to the next thing we do
Right.
in a decade. But
That's what it
yeah.
was. Yeah, Facebook group, and you know, I just messaged you. So,
Yeah.
but that
Yeah.
was about it. So.
Yeah, nice. And how's the voiceover work going? Like, can you just keep
It's
trucking along?
Here's the thing. So like through SAG Open Door last year, I met this guy. He's like a big deal in advertising, and he works for SAG on the East Coast. And I got his, okay, I'll train with you and I'll work with you and stuff. So we've been doing that for like a year. I'm not done with it yet. As a matter of fact, when I missed rehearsal on Wednesday is because I was meeting with him online before, and that went to hell because again, technology.
Yeah,
And
right.
so I was Apple support.
Yeah. The tech
So yeah, I got to
yeah.
make up with him tomorrow, as a matter of fact. But anyway, yeah. So it's mostly training, but there's a very solid line of like, okay, after this is done, which should be in a few weeks. And that's what kills me about the timing of all this, because I was, things should be picking up after that. So at least from that perspective, but I'm still on the outside looking in from a business standpoint, but we'll see.
Yeah.
And again, it's advertising, so don't get excited. It's not like Pixar. It's like planting the flag. It's like, you always got to hit the thing at the end of the, the slogan. You got to dress up all the fancy words and shit. So anyway,
Nice.
But this
I
was
love
awesome.
voiceover. Yeah, it really was. Thank you so much, everyone. And let's meet again in a decade. I don't know. You're all welcome to. I'm just going to keep going along with these play readings. So maybe we'll do another one soon. And
holler again. Like, just, I'm not checking face. Once Bernie punched out, I was just like, I can't.
Yeah, right.
It's my heart.
I don't want to look anymore.
No, there's so much great stuff. There's like people drawing Hitler mustaches on the
I'm
government.
related to that. I'm related to all of them by way of.
Yeah, no, me too.
So I can't look. I just can't. I can't look. So having said that,
Or the My Body, My Choice, no mask.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah.
Seen some of those.
You want to just hide, like, you know what I mean? Like your cat. No, your cat's doing something else. But what I was gonna say is, I'm not on Facebook that much lately. So if you need somebody, feel free to holler.
Awesome. That's really exciting. Thank you. And the whole point of Line Runs is to have an online network of actors so that I haven't actually explained what Line Runs is. It's good job, Lee. Line Runs is kind of like a hotline. So you can call up an actor to help you nail your scene, basically. Like, that's the point, is to nail your scene. So whether you have to learn lines or just check your lines, so often you just need that last 5% to give you that confidence when you go into an audition or when you're going to an important rehearsal. You just need to know you're at least good with the lines so that you're ready to be open to suggestion. So that's the point of Line Runs. So my hope is that it's going to become a big network of actors, and we can all, just support people with their auditions and their scene prep work. And it's using technology like this, like Zoom and phone, and just being really super accessible to people. So that's what that's about, and just embracing technology.
Cool.
Okay.
Yay.
Yeah. Well, how about we call it a night? Thank you so much to the audience for joining and for your lovely comments. If you want to read over them again, that's on the YouTube chat. And we'll be back online next week with Aiding the Enemy. Please join. And of course, follow everyone on Instagram and follow their amazing stories. Thank you very much, everyone. I'll send you an email right after.
Thank you.
Stay healthy.
Come on, everyone. Great working with you all.
See
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Stay healthy.
Bye.